While taking a nice, relaxing bath, a young woman just happened to doze off. The next thing she knew, she'd fallen into a lake. She struggled frantically but couldn't feel the edge of her bathtub. After calming down and taking a good look, she realized she was in a completely different world. Lena figured she had to be dreaming, so she immediately pinched hard on the wrist. The pain was so real it nearly scared the pee out of her. It was then she realized she'd actually been transported to another world. Suddenly, a strange sound came from the shore. If there are wild animals around, I'm toast. Lena shut her eyes tight, lying in the water, and desperately hoping to wake up in her own tub. But when she slowly opened her eyes, she saw a pair of large feet approaching. She jolted in fear and shot out of the water. Before she could react, a man lifted her up like a kitten. Lena's mind went blank. Wow, he's handsome. Where did he come from? The man, however, was staring at her with glowing eyes. What a cute little female. His stare sent a shiver down her spine. She instinctively looked down and her own eyes nearly popped out. You big pervert, put some clothes on. Fat tears welled up in her eyes. Seeing this, the man's heart softened with a pang of sympathy, and he quickly promised he wouldn't hurt her. Lena finally let her guard down a little. Then put me down. The man gently set her on the ground. The moment her feet touched the earth, Lena took off faster than a rabbit. The man watched her go. You're too slow. I can catch you no matter where you run. Lena froze in her tracks. Could you at least put on some clothes first? I was taking a bath, so of course I'm naked, aren't you? Lena wanted to cry. He was right, and she had no comeback. Her eyes darted around and spotted a piece of clothing. She grabbed it, only to realize it was her own towel. Little female, where's your male? Lena was completely lost. What do you mean female and male? My name is Kaiser. I'm a male beastman. You're a female. Hearing this, it finally dawned on Lena she had traveled to a world of beastmen. Just then, with a whoosh, Kaiser transformed into a majestic white tiger. Tiger monster? Lena stumbled in fear and fell back into the lake. If this is a nightmare, please let me wake up soon. But reality wasn't on her side. When she woke up again, she was lying on the tiger's back. Lena instinctively touched the fur. So soft. Is this a blanket? Kaiser's voice rumbled beside her ear. You're finally awake. Lena's eyes flew open. This isn't a blanket, it's tiger fur. A chill ran down her spine and she began to tremble. Kaiser stopped, shifted back into his human form, and leaped into a tree. Stay here. With that, he untied his leather loincloth. Lena shrieked, You pervert, what are you doing? Kaiser just tossed a dagger and his loincloth down to her, before transforming back into a tiger and jumping down from the tree. Where is that tiger going? It turned out he was hunting a wild boar. The boar scrambled to escape, but it was no match for a tiger and was quickly taken down with a bite to the throat. Lena was dumbfounded. That bite force is terrifying. I wouldn't even be a snack for him. After dealing with the boar, Kaiser told Lena to jump down from the tree. Are you kidding me? I'd break my legs jumping from this high up. She hesitated on the branch, too scared to jump. Seeing her delay, Kaiser zipped up the tree, scooped her into his arms, and leaped down. Kaiser took the dagger from Lena, expertly skinned the boar, and draped the processed hide over her. Suddenly, Lena heard a ding. Congratulations, host, for obtaining 1 wild boar hide. Beginner's quest triggered, collect 3 animal hides to receive a starter pack. Lena froze, only snapping out of it when Kaiser called her name. Tiger monster? No, Kaiser, thank you. Her adorable reaction completely melted the big tiger's heart. Kaiser handed her a piece of bloody raw meat. Want some? Lena recoiled, shaking her head. Seeing that she wouldn't eat it, Kaiser walked away. A few minutes later, he returned with bright red fruits. Lena took one and popped it in her mouth. You only eat fruit and not meat? Are you a herbivore beastman? Lena chuckled. I guess you could call me an omnivore? I just don't eat raw meat. I like it cooked. Kaiser was confused. How do you cook meat? Lena thought for a moment. First, you need fire. Have you ever seen fire? Kaiser frowned and nodded. Fire is incredibly destructive and terrifying to beastmen. Lena had an idea. Starting a fire by rubbing sticks together. She was confident at first. But after half an hour, she hadn't even produced a wisp of smoke. After 2 hours of failure, she exploded. TV shows are all lies. Kaiser took Lena's scratched hands and gently kissed her pale skin. Don't hurt yourself. I'll take you to find a fire source. You're my female. I'll get you anything you want. Lena froze and pushed him away. I'm not anyone's female. Despite her strong reaction, Kaiser's gaze remained gentle and firm. He took her hand again, softly licking her fingertips. You don't have to be afraid. I'll protect you. Lena looked at this powerful yet gentle tiger and thought back to her childhood. Her parents had passed away when she was 5, and she'd lived on her own ever since, long accustomed to a world without protection. Kaiser gently pulled her into his arms. It was the first time since her parents died that she had felt such warmth, and it came from a beast man. She pushed his hands away. I'm okay now, okay? Then why did you faint before? Lena mumbled to herself. Because you, a giant cat, scared me. Kaiser said again, you are my female. Even if you hit me, I won't leave you. Lena got goosebumps. She suddenly remembered the system quest and asked Kaiser to get her a few more animal hides. Kaiser transformed, his private parts on full display, making the girl shield her eyes. Her gaze then drifted to his upper body, where she noticed a wound on his arm. Lena gently touched it, feeling a pang of sympathy. The big tiger got excited and hugged her, nuzzling against her like a clingy cat. Kaiser went to wash the blood off, and Lena waved to him. Suddenly, she heard a ding. Congratulations, host, on completing the beginner's quest. Your starter pack is being delivered. The next second, a package appeared in her hands. She opened it and thought she saw a rotten stick, but it was actually a fire starter. She struck it a few times and lit a torch. She rummaged through the pack to see what other treasures were inside, and found a book, the complete illustrated guide to flora and fauna. Just then she heard footsteps. Kaiser was walking toward her. Lena quickly hid her things. Kaiser's lips curved into a slight smile. It seems my little female has her secrets. Soon they arrived at the wolf tribe's territory. The beastmen here were all tall and imposing. Compared to them, Lena felt like a tiny pet. Kaiser lifted Lena up. Females are very precious. Be careful not to get eaten alive by some horny wolves. Lena shivered. Looking ahead, she saw a group of male wolves surrounding a single female. It turned out that females held a very high status here. They didn't have to work and could have multiple mates. Lena's eyes widened. The women here have it so good, but being surrounded by that many creeps is terrifying. Kaiser took Lena to see the beastman doctor. A wolf on the side, the tribe leader, glanced over. Isn't that Kaiser? It was originally a lone tiger, so why is it bringing along a female today? A moment later, they reached the doctor's den. When the old doctor saw Lena's stunning beauty, he jumped up in excitement. Little female, how many male mates do you have? Kaiser immediately stepped in front of Lena protectively. This is my female. No one is to get any ideas. The old doctor's face fell. You brat, you actually found a mate. Pity our wolf tribe, we still have so many single males fighting tooth and nail over one female. Lena stood there stunned. This old man was quite the drama queen. The doctor took out a cloth pouch. The little female isn't sick, just a bit delicate. He pulled out some magical-looking fruits and handed them to Lena. She quickly waved her hands to refuse, but the old man shoved them into her hands anyway. He leaned in and whispered in her ear, the young men of our wolf tribe are all handsome and gentle. You could stay a few days and see for yourself. Kaiser, hearing this, became overwhelmed with jealousy. He snatched Lena away from the old man. Not necessary, I can take care of my own female. Next, they went to the market. Kaiser remembered Lena was practically naked, with only a hide wrapped around her, so he decided to buy her some clothes. All the clothes here were made of real leather. Lena picked one out and went to a corner to change. But the clothes at the Beastman market were ridiculously huge, big enough to fit two of her. She wanted to alter them, but only had rough twine and a stone needle. Just as she was worrying, she had a flash of inspiration and took a pin off her hair tie. Kaiser took out some gold coins and asked the shopkeeper if he had any smaller clothes. The greedy shopkeeper grinned from ear to ear. She's so petite. She can try on a few more sets. But by then, Lena had already changed. The two beastmen stared, dumbfounded, their eyes sparkling like love-struck teenagers as they let out excited howls. Lena instinctively covered her chest, and Kaiser rushed forward. You look beautiful. Lena's face turned as red as an apple, as she chuckled and scratched her head. Do you have any shoes? The beastmen, who had never worn shoes, were completely baffled. Lena then remembered she was in a beastman market. Of course they wouldn't wear shoes. Kaiser glanced down and saw Lena's delicate feet were covered in scratches. He told the shopkeeper to bring her a piece of animal hide. Lena took the hide, a wave of gratitude washing over her. With this tiger by her side, this world didn't seem so scary anymore. They were about to leave when a wolf beastman stopped them. The shaman invites you to be his guest. Kaiser's eyes narrowed. The wolf tribe has too many males and not enough females. They're all single. My little female is not staying here. He turned to leave with Lena. At that moment, the wolf tribe leader Shane returned from a hunt. A wolf called out to him, Shane, a stunningly beautiful female has come to the tribe. Shane ignored him and strode away. When he got back to his cave, he heard moaning and groaning inside. He saw several males fawning over a female. It turned out the woman was his own mother. Shane's anger flared. He dropped his prey and stormed back outside. Meanwhile, Kaiser was going hunting. He told Lena to be good and not wander off. Lena was secretly thrilled. Heh heh heh, the big tiger is finally gone. She took out her fire starter, and to her delight, it worked. She happily began roasting some meat. The book from her package detailed the situation of this world. It was a world with far more males than females, which was why females could have multiple mates. This world is so wild. She sighed, closing the book. Suddenly, she smelled something burning. Her meat was scorched. Just then, Kaiser returned from his hunt. He saw the firelight in the cave and, thinking Lena was in danger, rushed inside. When he saw the scene before him, he froze. His little fairy had turned into a soot-covered kitten. Kaiser roared. There's a fire! Run! Lena stuck a skewer of roasted meat in his mouth. Relax, I started this fire. Isn't this roasted meat delicious? The tiger, who had never eaten cooked food before, was stunned. Incredible! After tasting cooked meat, the big tiger couldn't get enough and roasted all the prey he'd caught. They ate until their bellies were full, and they were hiccuping. Full and satisfied, Lena lay on Kaiser's back, which was as warm as a big fluffy blanket. She noticed he had an injury on his back, so she took out a cloth pouch and bandaged the wound for him. Touched, Kaiser licked her face enthusiastically. That night, they cuddled together to sleep. Lena suddenly felt a warm wetness below. She looked down and realized she'd gotten her period. She was at a complete loss for what to do. Are you hurt? Kaiser suddenly woke up. Lena was so embarrassed she wanted to disappear into the ground, jumping up and running out of the den with her butt bare. I'm not hurt. Kaiser grabbed her and pulled her back. You're bleeding, and you say you're not hurt? Lena wanted the ground to swallow her whole. Don't look, you perv! Kaiser was exasperated. I'm a tiger, not a wolf. Lena wished she could just die. She tried to explain that this was a normal thing, that she'd bleed for a few days and then it would stop. But Kaiser was worried she'd bleed to death. He scooped her up and ran to find the doctor. Lena was about to lose her mind. It's just my period, but he's acting like I'm dying. Without a second thought, he scooped her up and sprinted toward the doctor's. Lena wrapped herself up like a burrito. She quickly explained that she bled once a month and that it would stop on its own in a few days. The old doctor was amazed. What species are you exactly? Lena blurted out, I'm human. The doctor was confused, having no idea what a human was. She quickly came up with a lie, saying that humans and ape men were the same species. Unbelievably, the two simple-minded beastmen bought it. The doctor handed her a bag of fruit. This is for building up your blood. Lena took the fruit and politely thanked him. The doctor was surprised by her gentle nature. The old man's eyes darted around as a plan formed in his mind. He was thinking of introducing Lena to the wolf tribe's leader. Kaiser saw this and shot the old man a fierce glare. The next day, Lena was trying to make clothes out of animal hides. When she accidentally pricked her finger, the big tiger frowned in concern. Let me. He took the hide from her and started stitching. To her surprise, he made a pair of panties. Lena was genuinely shocked that a big, tough guy knew how to sew, and the panties he made were so delicate. Kaiser stared at her, his face flushing red as he gulped, and instinctively reached out a paw. Lena instinctively backed away. Perv, where do you think you're touching? I'm a tiger, not a wolf. Lena pouted. Was this tiger just playing dumb? Without warning, Kaiser lifted Lena's foot. She froze, a tingling sensation spreading from her soul throughout her body. She had no idea what this tiger was up to. Kaiser told her to wait a moment, then grabbed a piece of hide. In no time, he had fashioned a pair of shoes, and they were even a trendy lace-up style. Paired with Lena's leather top and pants, she looked incredibly fashionable. She asked Kaiser why he didn't make a pair for himself. He explained that shoes were inconvenient for transforming into his beast form. It dawned on Lena that she had almost forgotten he was a big tiger. She couldn't help but giggle at the thought of Kaiser wearing shoes. Meanwhile, Shane came to the doctor's for some herbs and happened to run into Lena. He thought she was stealing and immediately grabbed her hand. Shameless female, how dare you steal? Lena tried to explain, but the wolf beastman squeezed her hand painfully. If you don't let go, I'm going to scream. Shane stopped, sneering. You shameless thief, you have the nerve to scream? Lena was furious. She twisted her body and yelled toward the space behind him, Shaman of the wolf tribe! While he was distracted, she rammed her head into his chin, nearly turning his sharp jawline into a square one. Then she even struck a martial arts pose to provoke him. The wolf beastman was enraged. You're asking for it! Lena instantly lost her nerve and turned to run. Shane lunged forward and grabbed her hair. Its softness made him freeze for a second. His mind completely focused on Lena. Her fair, smooth skin was so different from the grimy females he had seen before. Lena struggled frantically. Pervert, what are you touching? Shane was jolted back to his senses. What just happened to me? Lena, afraid he would try something again, picked up a large jar. Perv, if you come any closer, I'll smash your head in. Anger surged through him, and he raised his fist to strike her. At the crucial moment, the doctor appeared and kicked him in the rear. The old man stomped his feet in frustration. You idiot, you deserve to be single forever. Shane was scolded into submission. But she was stealing from you. The doctor flew into a rage. She's my guest. Get out. Shane knew he was in trouble and scurried away. The doctor turned to Lena awkwardly. That boy isn't a bad person. He just got confused for a moment. Don't take it to heart. It's okay, I'm not angry anymore. But Lena's next words crushed his hopes. I won't be seeing him again anyway. The doctor broke into a sweat. It seemed Shane had completely blown it this time. He was about to plead Shane's case again, when Kaiser returned from a hunt, carrying Lena's things. What took you so long? Don't you like collecting animal hides? I went and caught several wild boars and skinned them for you. Lena didn't know whether to laugh or cry. That was just for a system quest. You make me sound like some kind of skin flare. Kaiser thought to himself, this little female seems to be hiding a lot of secrets. Then he produced a bouquet of flowers. Do you like these? Lena took the flowers, her face lighting up with a smile. The doctor, watching this, couldn't help but twitch his lips. Kaiser's game was light years ahead of Shane's. Afterward, Lena and Kaiser left. They came to a sea of flowers, and Lena jumped around excitedly, unaware that Shane was watching them from the shadows. That woman is usually as fierce as a tigress, but she has such a sweet side to her. He couldn't help but blush. He wanted to give Lena a gift to apologize, but was afraid she was still angry and wouldn't accept it. Shane gritted his teeth, mustered his courage, and threw the gift to Lena before running away. Lena and Kaiser looked at the package curiously. They opened it to find red berries. Looks like these are for you. Want to eat them? Lena shook her head like a rattle, afraid they might be poisoned. Kaiser's gaze drifted down. Has the bleeding stopped? Why do I still smell blood? Lena quickly covered her behind, mortified. It's only the second day. It usually takes 5 days to stop. Lena gave the berries to the doctor. I don't know who threw these, but you can have them. Then he went to find Shane. Shane was sitting on a rock thinking about Lena. He suddenly heard the doctor's voice. You sent the red berries, didn't you? Shane denied it. What red berries? I don't know what you're talking about. The proud little wolf wouldn't admit it for anything. The doctor turned as if to go ask Lena. Wait! Shane panicked. It was compensation for misunderstanding her. It doesn't mean anything else. The doctor chuckled. Little wolf cub, you have feelings for her, don't you? Shane, seeing he'd been found out, ran off. It looks like this kid still has a shot. A few days later, Lena's period finally ended. Kaiser planned to take her away from the wolf tribe, but the doctor immediately stopped them. Winter is coming, you can't leave! Kaiser paused, deep in thought. He knew that once winter set in, prey would become scarce. Lena was too delicate and would surely not be able to handle it. Thinking of this, he pulled Lena into his arms. We'll stay for the winter. The old doctor was thrilled. I'll take you to pick a place to stay for the winter. Lena heard a ding in her ear. System quest triggered, winter is approaching. Host, please prepare a winter shelter of no less than 400 square feet, equipped with a bed, chairs, table, and other furniture. Afterward, they went to choose a place to stay. The wolf tribe was well prepared for winter. They had dug dozens of tunnels into the rock, filled with caves, like an underground labyrinth. Lena walked into a dark cave, and suddenly, more than a dozen pairs of glowing eyes flashed in the darkness. She looked closer and realized they were the eyes of beastmen. She stumbled in fear and fell into Kaiser's arms. The doctor told them to pick a spot and dig a cave. Kaiser instantly transformed into his beast form and clawed out a hole in a matter of seconds. Lena estimated the size of the cave and instructed Kaiser to dig 2 more rooms inside. Half a day later, the cave finally met the system's requirements. Now all that was left was the furniture. Lena planned to make furniture out of wood, so they went to the forest to find some. When they returned, they found a new cave had been dug next to theirs. Lena went closer and her heart skipped a beat. It was Shane. Back in her cave, she fumed. Why is that annoying guy digging a cave right next to us? Just then, Kaiser finished making a large bed. Lena touched the wooden bed in admiration and snuggled up against the big tiger. Kaiser, you're amazing! The sounds of their affection carried over to Shane's cave. Shane was both embarrassed and annoyed. Am I crazy? Why did I decide to be her neighbor? At that moment, Kaiser was dragging Lena back to the forest. Shane quietly followed them. Soon they were deep in the woods. Kaiser used his claws to chop a pile of wood. Lena exclaimed how amazing he was and pecked him on the cheek. Shane, hiding in the shadows, got a front row seat to their lovey-dovey show and grumbled, showing off his own wolf claws. My claws are amazing too. Why doesn't the little female ask for my help? They carried the wood back in batches, and Lena stayed behind to guard the rest. For safety, Kaiser placed her in a tree. Wait here in the tree, I'll be back soon. Lena leisurely read her book in the tree, while Shane watched her from the shadows. That tiger just left her here, it's too dangerous. And just as he feared, a giant mutant spider suddenly appeared above Lena and shot a stream of venomous silk at her. A giant horny spider was lunging right for her. She stumbled right into the arms of a wolf beast man. They stared at each other, both utterly confused. When Lena finally came to her senses, she was so scared she could have wet herself, and instinctively backed away. Watch out behind you! The giant spider charged. The wolf beastman, Shane, quickly pulled her behind him and let out a heaven-shaking howl. Run! The next second, Shane transformed into his beast form and fearlessly charged the giant spider, taking it down in just a few moves. Lena was stunned. Thank you for saving me. Shane shot her a sly glance. Just saying thank you isn't enough. Then what do you want? A wicked grin spread across the wolf's face. I want you to be my mate. Lena was both flustered and annoyed. You perverted wolf in your dreams. She huffed and turned to leave. Suddenly, Shane's legs gave out and he collapsed. He had been poisoned by the spider. To think I'd be taken out by a spider. If the tribe finds out, they'll laugh their heads off. Just as he was about to lose consciousness, Lena came back. Shane quickly hid his injured leg. What? Changed your mind about being my mate? Lena was fuming. I came back to get my things. Her eyes scanned him and noticed his injured leg. You're poisoned? Get away. I hate females. Lena wanted to check his wound, but he told her to go. Lena snorted and walked away. Shane lay on the ground, a little dejected. So all females really are cold-hearted. He slowly closed his eyes, his consciousness fading. Just then, Lena returned with some herbs. Shane was unconscious and twitching. Lena immediately took out her dagger, made an incision on his hand, and applied the herbs to the wound, following the instructions in her book as a last-ditch effort. The next second, Shane jolted awake. The little female is back? Is this a hallucination before I die? Lena let out a sigh of relief and held up 2 fingers. Look, how many fingers is this? Shane was completely baffled. What do you mean, how many fingers? Lena gave an awkward smile, realizing that Beastman probably couldn't count. Thank you for saving me. Lena cupped her ear. What was that? I can't hear you. I said thank you. A little louder, I still can't hear you. Shane couldn't take it anymore. I said you're an idiot. They both exploded into an argument. Lena's face darkened. I knew I shouldn't have saved you, you creep. Suddenly, footsteps approached from behind. It was Kaiser and the others. Seeing the dead spider, everyone felt a chill. Kaiser pulled Lena into his arms and said to Shane, Thank you for saving my mate. Shane's eyes narrowed. This white tiger is thanking me on the surface, but he's really warning me not to make a move on the little female. And the males he brought with him already have mates. This tiger is a cunning one. Back at the cave, Lena used animal hides to sew a bed and pillows, finally making it feel like a home. Just then, the system's notification sound rang out. Congratulations, host, for completing one of the series' quests. The quest reward is now being delivered. Instantly, a large pot appeared in front of her. Lena jumped for joy. Now I can stir fry and cook. Kaiser picked up the spatula and clanged it against the pot, looking puzzled. What is this thing? Lena took the spatula, grinning. This is a wok for cooking. She immediately started a fire and began to cook. The aroma of meat wafting from the pot made the big tiger's mouth water. Lena served him a bowl. Kaiser gobbled it down. Lena wanted to bring a bowl to Shane as well. Kaiser's eyes narrowed. Give me the soup, I'll take it to him. He went to the neighboring cave. Shane glared at him. What are you doing here? Kaiser offered him the meat soup. Shane quickly snatched the soup. Did she ask you to bring this? Kaiser snorted and walked away. Lena was so full she was hiccuping. Kaiser's lips curved into a smile that could charm anyone. Thank you for the soup, it was delicious. Lena was completely mesmerized. You're so handsome. With that thought, she bolted. But she was no match for his tiger claws. In one swift move, Kaiser caught her and wrapped his arms tightly around her from behind. The tiger, in heat, held the girl tightly, opening his jaws wide, wanting to make cubs with her. Lena's body trembled, and she was so scared she nearly wet herself. I think I'll go sleep next door. Kaiser's expression darkened, and he held her even tighter. You want to go find Shane? Do you like him? Lena burst into tears. I don't like him! Don't be like this, I'm scared! Kaiser finally loosened his grip. Lena let out a sigh of relief, her heart pounding. The feeling was both terrifying and strangely thrilling. Shane heard the commotion next door, his face turning as red as an apple. His hearing was too sharp, and he couldn't block out the sounds. Lena's words echoed in his mind, leaving him with mixed feelings and a sense of loneliness. The little female, she doesn't like me. The next morning, Lena thought about what had happened with Kaiser the night before and shot up in bed, feeling like she'd been struck by lightning. With a tiger? At that thought, she wanted to find a hole to die in. Just then, Kaiser walked in with a bowl of meat soup. I'm going hunting later. I've already asked Hazel to look after you. She's a female from the wolf tribe. Lena grew nervous, afraid of being left behind in the wolf tribe to be devoured. She wanted to go hunting with Kaiser. He firmly refused. Hunting in winter is very dangerous. Every year, many beastmen freeze to death. Lena thought for a moment and nodded reluctantly. Seeing her disappointment, Kaiser's heart ached. He pulled her into his arms. Don't be sad. Whatever you want, I'll bring it back for you. Lena took out her book and told Kaiser to bring back some spices for cooking, then gave him a boning knife for self-defense. Kaiser nuzzled her head. I'll be back. They instinctively moved to kiss, but just then, a woman pushed the door open. They jumped apart. It was Hazel. The three of them froze. Hazel laughed. Sorry to interrupt. Kaiser entrusted Lena to Hazel and stepped out into the snowy world. This time, I must get enough food to survive the winter. Lena begged Hazel to take her out to explore this strange world. Hazel readily agreed and pulled her along. Soon they were at the market. The streets were full of old folks and kids who were working. All eyes were on Lena. She looked around, searching for other females, and when she found them, she was stunned. The females were all plump and well-fed, and they didn't have to do anything. If I just eat and laze around, will I end up like that? She asked Hazel how to tan hides. Hazel looked surprised. Us girls don't need to do that kind of work. Just having babies is enough. Lena's jaw dropped. If all I can do in this world is have cubs, that's terrifying. Hazel looked at Lena like she was an oddball, but agreed to teach her how to tan hides. They went to the river, and Lena bent down to wash the hide. Her graceful figure and charming appearance immediately attracted the attention of the surrounding wolf beastmen. Few young wolves hid nearby, staring. They had never seen such a beautiful female, as the precious ones rarely went out. Their eyes were wide, and they were practically drooling, each one eager to go talk to her. Just then, an angry Shane appeared before them, grabbing the young wolves by their tails and dragging them away. Hazel watched, with a smirk. Are you close with Chief Shane? He's been spying on you. Lena's face fell. It's that big perv again. But before she could finish, Shane was in front of her. What are you doing here? Lena retorted in a cutesy, high-pitched roar. None of your business! Hearing her voice, Shane's face turned beet red. His mind raced and his body reacted involuntarily. He quickly turned away to hide from everyone's view. Hazel was flabbergasted. Chief Shane, who had always disliked females, was actually interested in one. Lena struggled to lift the washed hide. Shane saw this and took it from her. Let me get that. A water-soaked hide is heavier than you are. He hoisted the hide onto his shoulder and walked away. Lena hurried to catch up. This wolf isn't so bad after all. But then Shane's tone shifted. You can't even carry this. Females really are useless. Lena's face instantly darkened. This guy was still as annoying as ever. Hazel was speechless. The once domineering Chief Shane now seemed like a clumsy fool. Back at the cave, Lena was about to cook. When she remembered she'd left a bowl at Shane's, she hurried to the neighboring cave. Shane's wolf head poked out. What? Lena jumped, nearly scared out of her wits. She gritted her teeth. My bowl! Shane played dumb. What bowl? Shane immediately backed down, scurrying into his cave. A moment later, he trotted out with the bowl in his mouth. Here, you cheapskate. Lena snatched the bowl and left. Shane was both annoyed and dejected. That was the only thing the little female ever gave me. Just a moment ago, Kaiser had finally returned from his hunt. Lena ran to greet him but couldn't stop in time, and crashed into his muscular chest. This time, Kaiser had brought back some peculiar fruits that were incredibly salty and could be used as a substitute for salt. Lena immediately grabbed her wok, heated it up, and prepared to show off her cooking skills. In no time, a dish was ready, its delicious aroma filling the air. She served a bowl to Kaiser. Take this to Shane. He helped me out a lot these past few days. The little wolf, drawn by the smell of meat, eagerly bounded out. But his face fell when he saw it was Kaiser. Lena said you helped her a lot, so I'm thanking you on her behalf. Shane pouted and snorted. I helped her. If anyone should thank me, it should be her. He was about to go back into his cave when Kaiser stopped him. We're leaving after this winter. Don't get any ideas about her. I'll do what I want. It's none of your business. Meanwhile, Lena was waiting for Kaiser to return. Suddenly, ding, a system quest was triggered. Host, please gather enough food before the onset of winter. Lena was taken aback and was about to ask how much enough was, but the system vanished. What kind of system just drops a quest and disappears? Just then, Kaiser returned and saw Lena talking to herself, looking puzzled. The system, enough food. Lena laughed and explained. Aren't we supposed to be preparing more food for the winter? Kaiser moved closer to her, his eyes full of affection. With me here, I'll get you as much food as you want. Kaiser's gaze grew deeper and more intense. Lena knew this was trouble, and quickly dove under the covers. The big white tiger walked over to her and gently stroked her silky hair. Lena felt a tingling sensation and shot up. Where are you touching? Before she could finish, Kaiser pulled her into a tight embrace. Lena, I've missed you so much these past few days. The tiger's pheromones grew stronger, and he couldn't resist planting a kiss on her forehead. Shane, listening from next door, was fuming. The aroused little wolf was scratching his ears in frustration. That stinking tiger is definitely doing this on purpose. The next morning, Kaiser was refreshed and energetic, while Shane had dark circles under his eyes and looked exhausted. Lena saw this and her heart skipped a beat. That perverted wolf looks like he didn't sleep well. Did he hear everything last night? She shot an annoyed glance at Kaiser. This is all your fault. Kaiser grinned mischievously. Then next time, you'll have to try not to make a sound when I'm holding you. Lena flew into a rage. The big tiger quickly made his escape. In the following days, Kaiser brought back large amounts of prey every time he went out. Everyone looked on with envy, praising Lena for having such a good husband. Even the beautiful Hazel was envious. The prey he catches alone is more than my whole family catches. Lena was puzzled. Your family? Yes, I have 5 mates. Lena's jaw dropped, her eyes nearly popping out. You're really something. Hazel shrugged. They're nothing compared to your Kaiser. Lena quickly clarified. We're not mates. Hazel smirked. Not mates? Then why do you live in the same cave and sleep in the same bed? Lena was at a loss for words. Since coming to this world and meeting Kaiser, they had naturally started living together, and had even done some intimate things. At that thought, her face turned bright red. We're family, I guess. Hazel rolled her eyes playfully. Mates are family, too. Lena was about to explain, but Hazel cut her off. If you don't want a great man like Kaiser, then give him to me. Lena panicked. No, he can't be your mate. Hazel laughed to herself and continued to dig. You don't even like him, so what's the problem with giving him to me? Lena quickly retorted. Who says I don't like him? Hazel smiled slyly. Aha, so you do like him. It was then that Lena realized she'd been tricked. Just then, Kaiser returned from his hunt and swooped Lena into his arms. Lena's jaw dropped. What did I just say? Kaiser casually tossed a bag of fruit to Hazel as a thank you. Hazel caught it and winked at Kaiser. She's very cute. You're a lucky man. Then she turned and left. The couple stood in silence. Lena was so embarrassed she wanted to dig a hole and hide. Kaiser nuzzled her forehead. I heard everything you said. Her face instantly turned red and her heart fluttered. What did you hear? You said you like me. The shy girl tried to deny it, but Kaiser saw right through her. His deep gaze grew incredibly hot. Lena, you don't like me? Lena couldn't resist. Her heart pounded as she leaned against his strong chest. Not like you. Kaiser's gaze became even more intense. Then you do like me. With that, he leaned in and stole her first kiss of the day. The big tiger snuck a kiss on the girl's lips. Lena instantly flew into a rage, her face as red as a monkey's butt. Kaiser grinned mischievously. Want to go again? Lena was flustered. Shameless, she turned and ran. Back at the cave, she organized their winter food supplies. Suddenly, ding, the system notification sounded. Congratulations, host, for completing the system quest. The reward is now being delivered. A moment later, the reward fell into Lena's hands. It was a pack of sanitary pads. She was so moved she teared up, no longer having to worry about the awkwardness of her period. Just then, the big tiger popped his head in. Lena quickly hid the pads. If Kaiser sees this, it'll be way too awkward to explain. Outside, the snow was falling heavily, and it was getting colder. Lena sneezed. Achoo! Achoo! Cold, come here, I'm warm. Lena thought that made sense. Kaiser was a big, fluffy tiger. So she plopped down on his lap. But she couldn't sit still, feeling something strange. Her face instantly turned beet red. She looked up and stole a glance at the muscular man behind her. Kaiser looked down, and their eyes met. Lena's heart pounded. Oh no, he caught me staring. The next morning, Lena was woken up by a commotion. Kaiser walked in with a basin of water. Just as the couple was getting cozy, there was a loud crash, and 2 fierce-looking wolf beastmen burst in. Our female wants this cave. Lena was startled. These are beastmen from the Blackwater wolf tribe. Kaiser quickly stood in front of her. A red-haired brute reached out to pull them out. When Kaiser didn't move, the red-haired one threw a punch. Kaiser easily caught it, and with a crack, he broke the guy's wrist. Then with a twist, he dislocated his arm and finished with a kick to his privates. Kaiser roared, Get lost! The 2 wolves grimaced in pain. You'll pay for this! They limped back to their own cave. Their mate, seeing them in such a sorry state, snapped, I sent you to get a room, how did you end up like this? They explained what had happened. The woman flew into a rage, so angry her period started. She suddenly had an idea to use her beauty to seduce Kaiser. Let's see which male dares to refuse me, the most beautiful woman in the beast world. She stormed over to the next cave and ordered her mates to break down the door. Lena heard the banging and knew something was wrong. Sure enough, a group of them rushed in. How dare you barge into someone's home? Get out! The woman froze when she saw Lena. How is this female's skin so fair? And her waist is so tiny? Her own mates started gawking at Lena. The woman was furious. Her lips are prettier than mine? Unforgivable. She pointed at Lena and spewed insults. Where did this wild female come from? I'm the mate of the wolf tribe's chief. Get out if you know what's good for you. I've never seen you before. You must be a female from the Blackwater wolf tribe. Who said I'm the mate of the Blackwater chief? I'm Shane's mate. Hearing this, Lena was surprised. When did Shane get a mate? Just then, Kaiser walked in. I don't care whose mate you are, get out now. Lena hurried to his side and whispered in his ear, This crazy woman says she's Shane's mate. Before she could finish, the woman interrupted. I've taken a liking to him. He must become my mate. Lena was exasperated. So it's just wishful thinking on your part. The woman was so angry she could spit. It's his honor that I've taken a liking to him. Just then, Shane walked in with a dark expression. Should I be kneeling in gratitude? The woman's heart skipped a beat, but she wasn't giving up. She took off her outer layer and tried to seduce him. Shane's brow furrowed. What is this crazy female trying to do? The woman's eyes grew hazy as her hands roamed over Shane's muscular chest, her seductive gaze trying to use him against Lena. Lena covered her eyes, unable to watch. Shane's eyes narrowed in disgust, and he kicked the scheming woman away with a powerful blow. If you dare touch me again, I'll rip off your hands. Everyone was stunned. In this world, females were as precious as jewels, yet a male had dared to lay a hand on one. Lena was speechless. Shane truly was the biggest oddball in the beast world. The woman screamed at Shane, Are you even a male? How dare you treat me like this? Shane's eyes narrowed. Only my mate has the right to know if I'm a male or not. As for you, get as far away from me as you can. The scheming woman gritted her teeth in anger and ran away in tears. Shane turned to Lena, his brow furrowed. You're being bullied at your own doorstep. Why don't you fight back? Who said I didn't fight back? I was about to, but then you showed up. Shane was at a loss for words. I was just passing by. He thought to himself, Damn, I ran over as soon as I heard she was in trouble. She didn't figure it out, did she? Lena nodded. I know, you were just passing by. Hearing this, the little wolf felt a strange surge of annoyance and howled, Stupid female! Lena was confused. What was wrong with him? Kaiser on the side was secretly relieved. To prevent any more incidents, Kaiser repaired the broken wooden door. Lena looked at the damaged door and felt a pang in her heart. If only the system could give me an iron door. But then she realized that she had, without knowing it, started to get used to this place. Am I going to stay here and face all of this forever? Meanwhile, the scheming woman, Livia, returned to her cave, crying. She kicked one of her mates in the rear. You just stood there and watched me get bullied. What good are you? The cowards didn't dare say a word. Livia, seeing how useless they were, grew even more furious. Go and beat up that wild female for me. The wolves hesitated. But she's a female and she's so pretty, Before they could finish, Livia exploded, unleashing a torrent of abuse at them. Lena, you just wait. Outside, the snow was falling heavily, and the forest had officially entered winter. This weather was perfect for hot pot. Lena got out a large pot and started cooking. She told Kaiser to get ingredients from the cellar, but she thought eating hot pot with just 2 people wasn't very lively, so she went to the neighboring cave to invite Shane. She found him with 2 wolves from the Blackwater tribe. A dark-skinned beastman drooled at the sight of Lena. She shivered in fear. Shane saw this and warned the dark beastman not to get any ideas about her, or he'd have to deal with him. The dark beastman was about to retort, but was stopped by his companion. He snorted and angrily left. Watching the 2 Blackwater wolves leave, Shane glared at Lena. What are you doing out here? I made hot pot. I came to ask if you wanted to eat with us. Shane's serious expression immediately softened. What's a hot pot? Is it edible? Lena, offended by his doubt, turned to leave. Fine, don't eat it. Shane panicked and roared, I want to eat hot pot! But when he got to Lena's cave, he froze in shock. The room was steamy and flames were burning under the pot. He immediately grabbed Lena and pulled her outside. It's on fire, let's go! Lena didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She led him inside. This is a hot pot. It won't hurt you. Just then, Kaiser came over with ingredients. "Lena, the meat is cooked. Come and eat." Shane was astonished. He couldn't believe this tiger wasn't afraid of fire. He mustered his courage and cautiously sat down. "I never knew meat could be eaten like this." Lena was about to dig in. She grabbed a piece of meat and popped it in her mouth, nearly burning her lips. Kaiser quickly checked if she was hurt, gently lifting her face and blowing on her red lips. Plop. The piece of meat in Shane's hand fell. The little female's lips. "I want to blow on them too." Lena covered her mouth and quickly changed the subject. "Were those two from the Blackwater tribe?" "Yes, they came to discuss a business deal with me." Lena was curious about what kind of business beastmen could have. "Wait a minute, I'll go get that thing from next door." A moment later, Shane returned with a bamboo tube for Lena. Inside the tube was the water they were selling. Lena opened the tube and sniffed. "This isn't water, it's alcohol." Shane was confused, not knowing what alcohol was. Lena explained, "Alcohol can warm you up, but you can't drink too much. If you get drunk, you can lose control and even go berserk." Kaiser and Shane were startled. "This is important, we'll remember that." But Lena was excited. She told Shane to find out what the alcohol was made from. "If we can grow grain in the future, we can not only eat it but also make alcohol to sell." Lena poured 3 bowls of alcohol and raised her bowl. "To tonight's hot pot, cheers!" Kaiser and Shane didn't know what cheers meant, but raised their bowls with her. The 2 beastmen each took a sip and found the taste quite good. They downed their bowls and finished the whole tube in no time. Lena suddenly had a bad feeling. The wolf and tiger were staring at her. The little wolf's face was flushed and his eyes were glazed over. He suddenly lunged at Lena in a drunken fit. "Let me be your mate. I really, really like you." Lena pushed against his head. "You're just drunk and talking nonsense." But Shane wouldn't let go. With a thump, he transformed into his beast form, vowing to make cubs with Lena. Kaiser, on the side, was burning with jealousy, his eyes filled with killing intent, and he kicked the drunken Shane away. Lena was worried Kaiser would kill Shane. "Don't worry, this wolf is tough. He won't die." With that, he grabbed Shane, dragged him out, and threw him back into his own cave. The little wolf was dead drunk and fast asleep. Kaiser scooped Lena up, his own eyes growing hazy. They returned to their cave. Intoxicated, Kaiser pinned her against the wall. Lena was about to tell him to behave when he silenced her with a kiss. The alcohol had gone to his head and his body was burning up. His eyes suddenly went vacant, and he lost all reason. Shane was woken up by the noise from next door. He sobered up instantly and rushed into the neighboring cave, transforming into his beast form. "Let go of Lena." He lunged at Kaiser with bared fangs. Kaiser snapped back to his senses and saw Lena huddled in a corner. Shane immediately picked her up. "Don't be afraid, I'll take you to the wolf tribe's shaman." Kaiser wanted to check Lena's injuries, but was stopped by Shane. "Stay away, don't you see how badly you've hurt her?" With that, he carried Lena to find the doctor. Kaiser was filled with regret and wanted to slap himself. Meanwhile, the doctor was leisurely applying a mud mask to his face when a loud bang startled him. He turned to see Shane bursting in with Lena in his arms. "Lena's hurt, you have to help her." The doctor saw Lena's bruised and battered body, and without a second thought jumped up and delivered a swift kick to Shane. "It wasn't me." Hearing this, the doctor stopped. "Then which scumbag did this?" Shane cried out in frustration. "It was that white tiger, Kaiser!" "He always seemed so gentle, how could he?" The doctor told Shane to gather all the herbs, crush them, and apply them to Lena's body to stop the bleeding. After that, Shane stormed out furious. He was going to beat Kaiser to a pulp. He charged into the neighboring cave and tackled Kaiser to the ground. But Kaiser didn't fight back. He had no memory of what he'd done while drunk. "You can hit me, but tell me, is Lena okay?" Shane's eyes narrowed. "Not telling you anything. You hurt Lena so badly you don't deserve to be her mate." Kaiser's heart shattered. "Lena, what did I do? Do I really not deserve to be with you anymore?" When she slowly regained consciousness, her entire body ached as if it had been torn apart. The nightmarish scene from the previous night replayed in her mind, leaving her terrified. Just then, an old man burst in. Lena flinched, but it was just the wolf tribe's shaman bringing her medicine. Soon after, Shane walked in, carrying her clothes. Seeing the clothes, all of which Kaiser had made for her by hand, brought tears to her eyes. The little wolf whimpered in sympathy. Lena slowly stopped crying, but she didn't know how she would face Kaiser now. Shane rested his head against her, and they cried together. At that moment, Kaiser came to see Lena, but was mercilessly turned away by the shaman. Recalling his drunken actions, Kaiser left in shame. A few days later, Lena's injuries had healed. After saying goodbye to the wolf shaman, she returned to her cave. She knew she had to clear things up with Kaiser, but when she pushed open the door, the cave was empty and silent. Lena felt a mix of emotions and sat down, fuming, to wait for the big white tiger to return. She had only wanted to live a quiet life with Kaiser, but the thought of having tiger cubs with him made her skin crawl. No, that's too scary. She waited from day to night, but Kaiser never showed up. Shane, on the other hand, had come by several times. Do you know where Kaiser went? At the mention of Kaiser's name, Shane gritted his teeth. I don't know. Lena was frantic and went to find the shaman. It was freezing outside, and she worried Kaiser would freeze to death. The shaman told her that Kaiser had come to see him a few days ago. That tiger went deep into the mountains. He said he was looking for primal leaf fruit to help you recover. Hearing this, Lena threw on a cloak and was about to go after him. Shane grabbed her. Feeling her trembling hands, he roared, "I'll go find him for you!" A wave of warmth washed over Lena. "You're guests of the wolf tribe. As the chief, I can't just stand by and watch someone die." The shaman couldn't help but chuckle. "Since when were you so responsible?" Shane's intentions were exposed, and he cursed under his breath. Lena, worried that Shane would freeze to death going out shirtless, took off her own cloak and put it on him. "If you can't find Kaiser, just come back quickly." The little wolf looked at Lena, his heart pounding. "If I make it back safely this time, will you promise me one thing?" Lena froze. Is he going to ask me to be his mate? The healer jumped right on the opportunity. "Lena, this time Shane risked his life for you. Say yes, kid." Shane excitedly hugged Lena and planted a kiss on her lips. Lena froze, completely baffled. Before she could react, Shane had already turned and headed into the deep mountains. Just then, Hazel rushed over. "Someone is stealing your things." Lena's jaw dropped, and she sprinted back. The shaman quickly told Hazel, "Go get the strong men of the tribe to help." Hazel immediately took off to get reinforcements. At that moment, a group of bandits was ransacking Lena's cave. Faced with these tall and powerful beastmen, the small and weak Lena was powerless. And the mastermind behind all of this was the scheming woman, Livia. She glared at Lena. "Your males are frozen to death out there. Let's see who can help you now." Lena was so angry she wanted to shut her up. But Livia grabbed her chin. "Do you believe I could ruin that pretty face of yours?" Before she could finish, Lena headbutted her, knocking her jaw out of place. The scheming woman, caught off guard, fell to the ground. So angry she could have shattered her teeth. "Seize her!" But the males Livia had brought with her hesitated, unwilling to lay a hand on the adorable Lena. Livia was furious. "Aki, take your female away." Hearing that name, Lena's heart skipped a beat. She turned to see the dark-skinned wolf beastman. Aki had long been infatuated with Lena, and he couldn't stop drooling at the sight of her. Lena grabbed a wooden club to defend herself. The dark beastman's face twisted into a menacing grin. "If you don't come with me, you'll starve to death." Livia on the side was gloating. Lena held up the club, ready to die rather than surrender. Livia had lost her patience and urged Aki on. "What are you waiting for? Grab her!" With that, the evil wolf lunged at Lena. The evil wolf grabbed Lena, intending to force her to have cubs with him. Lena screamed for help, but the more she yelled, the more excited the wolf became, tearing her clothes with his filthy hands. She mustered her courage and roared at the wolf. "Even if you force me, I will definitely abandon you." Hearing this, the wolf hesitated, but the scheming woman on the side urged him on. "Aki, don't hesitate. Give her some of our special water and she won't resist." Lena's heart sank. Are they going to make me drink alcohol? Just as the scheming woman turned to get the alcohol, a fist flew out and punched her in the stomach. She tumbled to the ground, clutching her stomach in pain. "Who kicked me? Show yourself." A familiar figure slowly walked in. It was Shane, returned from the deep mountains. His eyes were narrowed and his face was full of killing intent. The evil wolf was terrified and trembling. "My mom is calling me home for dinner. We should go." But as he tried to slip away, Shane grabbed him by the neck. "You dare to lay a hand on Lena?" "Shane, this is a misunderstanding." But Shane didn't give him a chance to explain. A few punches that could send him straight to the afterlife. Everyone else was so scared they wet their pants. The scheming woman tried to run, but was blocked at the door by a group of strong men. It was the reinforcements brought by the shaman and Hazel. They swarmed in and captured her. Hazel told Lena, "Kaiser is back too. He's a little injured and is resting at the shaman's place." Lena burst into tears of joy. She could only feel safe with Kaiser by her side. However, that perverted wolf Aki hadn't died. The shaman of the Black River wolf tribe wanted to protect him. "As long as Chief Shane spares Aki's life, all the special water we brought this time will be yours." Shane just sneered, thinking this shaman was cunning. It was this same water that had made Kaiser lose control. "What is this old fool planning?" Lena leaned in and whispered to Shane, "Let me handle this." "Such a meddlesome little female. Do whatever you want." Lena asked the old shaman how much of the magical water he had brought. He said he had brought 2 wooden barrels. Leave the 2 barrels of water and tell me the recipe for making it, and we'll call it even. The old shaman laughed. In your dreams! Shane grabbed Aki by the neck again. We are dreaming big. If you don't agree, we'll kill this perverted wolf. Faced with the crazed Shane, the old shaman had no choice but to comply. He had his men bring over the 2 barrels of alcohol. Shane then forced him to reveal the recipe, which the old shaman told to Lena. He thought to himself that this little female was no simpleton. Then he left with his beastmen. You just wait, we'll be back. After they left, Lena was about to relax when Shane suddenly collapsed. Lena rushed to help him up, and when she touched him, she felt an icy chill. Her eyes widened as she saw a rune glowing on Shane's arm. It's a star crest. Bring him to my place first. They took Shane to the doctor's den. Lena immediately saw Kaiser lying on a straw bed. Seeing that he was alive, she breathed a sigh of relief. The wolf shaman ordered the other beastmen to stand guard at the door. Lena asked the shaman, "What's a star crest?" A star crest only appears when a beastman is evolving. When it appears, it greatly increases their combat power. However, many beastmen die during the evolution process. Lena's jaw dropped. So Shane might die? Survival of the fittest is the law of the beastman. If he can't get through this, he'll be eliminated. At that moment, Shane's body convulsed and he groaned in pain. Watching this, Lena felt a pang of sympathy, and tears streamed down her face. Even though this wolf is hot-tempered and has a sharp tongue, he saved both me and Kaiser. He's a good beastman. At that thought, she cried even harder. Her crying woke Kaiser up. He shot up, and Lena threw herself into his arms, her eyes filled with tears. Don't cry, I have a way to save Shane. With that, Kaiser untied his loincloth, revealing a beast mark on his waist. The wolf shaman jumped up in excitement. That's a 3-star soul beast. A 3-star soul beast can calm Shane's white wolf soul beast. With that, the shaman fell to his knees and begged Kaiser to save Shane. Kaiser readily agreed but proposed a condition that was difficult even for him. Lena had to become mates with both him and Shane at the same time. To soothe the beast soul within Shane, they had to be family. Lena had to become mates with both the tiger and the wolf at the same time. It was the only way to save the dying wolf, Shane. The tiger Kaiser cut his finger and let his blood drip into a cup. At the same time, the shaman cut Shane's hand, allowing their blood to mix. Lena looked at the cup of blood, her heart pounding with uncertainty. She shakily picked up the cup, took a large sip, and then let her own blood drip into it, giving it to both Kaiser and Shane to drink. Instantly, a dazzling golden light flashed. With this light, the 3 of them completed the mating contract. Shane's pale face gradually returned to normal, but Lena had a bad feeling. After all, Shane's always hated kids. When he wakes up and finds out he was forced into a mate bond, he's gonna lose it for sure. Kaiser comforted Lena. Don't worry. If he dares to complain about you, I'll rip his bells off. The shaman on the side quickly explained that Shane actually liked Lena a lot, but Lena would sooner believe that pigs could fly than believe Shane liked her. Don't worry, the blood mating contract only lasts for 3 months. If you don't want to have cubs with us after 3 months, the contract will automatically expire. The shaman added, That's right. If you're not satisfied, you can dump them at any time. Hearing this, Lena felt a little relieved. Even though these 2 beastmen were a bit strange, she could treat it as a 3-month relationship. Just then, Kaiser walked over to Shane and placed his hand on the beast soul on his shoulder. In a flash of light, Shane's pupils dilated, and he suddenly regained consciousness. He had finally evolved successfully. The shaman grabbed Shane's shoulders, crying with joy, but Kaiser, having expended so much energy, was on the verge of collapsing. Take me back, I want to go home. Lena stood stunned for a few seconds, then helped Kaiser back to their cave. Once they were home, Kaiser handed Lena a bag of primal leaf fruit. Lena took the fruit, deeply moved. I'm sorry, Lena, that night Before he could finish, Lena cut him off. Don't say it. I've already forgotten about that night. The big tiger was like a child who had done something wrong, filled with anxiety. Can I still hug you? Of course. Lena realized she had become deeply dependent on Kaiser. They held each other tightly. The next morning, Lena was awakened by a loud rumbling sound. She got up to see a large hole in the living room wall. It turned out to be Shane's doing. He had knocked down the wall between their homes. Lena was furious. Are you crazy? Why did you smash my wall? You're my mate now. Your home is my home, so of course this wall has to go. They argued for nearly 2 hours. Lena was so angry her jaw almost dislocated. Even if we're mates, you can't just smash walls. Jane, hearing this, was overjoyed. Little female, is she admitting that I'm her mate? Just then, Kaiser walked in. Lena, the food is ready. Lena immediately ran off like a hungry kitten to eat. Kaiser shot a sharp glance at Shane. Don't even think about luring Lena into your room. From now on, we compete fairly." With that, he turned and left. Shane roared after him. "Don't think I'm afraid of you just because you're a 3-star soul beast." Kaiser snorted. "Bring it on." Lena, hearing their conversation, groaned inwardly. She had to live with these two beasts for the next 3 months. Her future seemed fraught with disaster. On the first day of living together, Shane shamelessly demanded to sleep in the same bed with Lena, only to be ruthlessly rejected. "I'm used to sleeping alone. I don't want to sleep with anyone." Shane, hearing this, was overcome with jealousy. "Here, you sleep with that tiger every night." Lena felt like she'd been struck by lightning. Was the soundproofing that bad? Her face turned as red as a monkey's butt. "Kaiser and I have real feelings for each other. You're just a friend." Shane's heart sank. He grabbed Lena's hand and growled, "If you don't like me, why'd you sign a mate bond with me?" "Because I couldn't just watch you die. In 3 months, the bond dissolves on its own." Shane's heart shattered. He wanted to pounce on Lena right then and there to make their mate status a reality. Lena, seeing the murderous look in his eyes, was terrified and quickly pulled her hand away. Shane realized he had scared her and immediately put on a harmless smile. "It's just an errand, right? I'll go." With that, he grabbed the things and left. But his mood changed in an instant. He stormed into the wolf shaman's home and threw the thank you gift Lena had prepared at him. "Did you and Lena have another fight?" "I like her so much, but she just doesn't like me." With that, the little wolf started crying pitifully. The little wolf begged the girl to have his cubs, only to be kicked out by Lena. She turned over and fell fast asleep. But the persistent little wolf wasn't giving up. He secretly climbed into Lena's bed. "Lena, I really, really like you." Lena was about to refuse when Shane silenced her with a kiss. Just as he was getting into it, Lena slapped him across the face. But the more she hit him, the more excited he became, even trying to force himself on her. The next day, Lena was yawning and listless. Hazel saw her and whispered in her ear with a mischievous smile, "Were you and Chief Shane up to no good last night?" Lena's jaw dropped. "Don't be ridiculous. Nothing happened between us." Just then, Shane's voice came from outside. Lena jumped, feeling caught in the act, her face turning as red as a ripe apple. "You don't have to be shy. We can wait to have cubs. I have something else to tell you." "Who wants to have cubs with you? Just say what you have to say." "That scheming woman Livia is pregnant." Lena was stunned. "Why are you telling me this? Is it your child?" Shane flew into a rage. "What are you talking about? I only have eyes for you." "The wolf shaman told me to release Livia." With that, he grabbed Lena's arm. "That woman has caused you trouble time and time again. Do you want me to get rid of her for you?" Lena was touched. After all, harming a pregnant female was a serious crime, and this silly wolf was willing to do anything for her. "Let Livia go. The child in her belly is innocent." Shane thought Lena was trying to save him from trouble, and was overjoyed. "Heh, you really do like me." Lena was speechless. This guy was such a narcissist. Before she could react, Shane planted a kiss on her forehead, then turned and ran, calling back, "Be good and wait for me at home. Who's waiting for you?" Meanwhile, Shane went to the prison and ordered his men to release Livia and her group. The scheming woman was ecstatic, thinking Shane had feelings for her. "You really are a man of contradictions. So you do care about me." Her words almost made Shane sick. He was about to leave when Livia saw the evolved soul beast on his shoulder. Her eyes lit up and she immediately went to him, taking his hand. Her gaze grew hazy. "Shane, you've evolved. I can definitely bear you the strongest cubs." Shane was furious and grabbed her by the neck. "If you come any closer, I'll kill you." Livia was so scared she wet her pants. Her mates were about to rush in to help, but Shane threw Livia at them. "Keep an eye on this crazy woman. Don't let her near me or I might actually kill her." Livia stared daggers at Shane's departing back. That night, Lena ate with the tiger and the wolf. She kept stealing glances at the two beastmen. If she had to choose a mate, she only wanted to be with Kaiser. Just as Kaiser was about to get up and sleep outside, Lena grabbed his hand. He looked back at her, puzzled. Lena blushed and stammered, You can stay tonight." Kaiser couldn't believe his ears. He never thought Lena would accept him. Shane on the side strongly objected. "Are you keeping Kaiser here to have cubs with him?" Lena didn't know how to answer, but Kaiser was already beaming. Shane, seeing them, was so angry he could have shattered his teeth. He turned and left without a word. "Lena, have you decided you want to have cubs with me?" Lena was blushing furiously. Kaiser eagerly pulled her into an embrace, but she pushed him away. "Wait!" She took out a bag of primal leaf fruit. Hazel said primal leaf fruit can reduce the pain. Kaiser took the fruit and crushed it in his hand. Then they kissed. Shane, next door, heard the sounds and gritted his teeth in anger. At the crucial moment, Lena suddenly felt a sharp pain and pushed Kaiser away. It turned out her period had come, and their baby-making plans were ruined. The next day, Lena was stuck in bed. Hazel, hearing about what had happened, burst out laughing. Kaiser brought her bright red fruits, saying they would help replenish her blood. Just then, Shane rushed in with the shaman. Lena had a bad feeling. The shaman looked her up and down, then handed her a bowl of medicinal soup. The strange color and pungent smell made Lena recoil. She wouldn't drink it for anything. But under the pressure of the two beasts, she eventually gave in. After drinking the medicine, Shane gently covered her with a blanket. Lena looked at him with a hazy expression. Why did this wolf suddenly seem so gentle? Her gaze made Shane blush. Lena couldn't help but smile. You're so goofy and cute. Shane was speechless. Cute is for females and cubs, okay? 7 days later, Lena's period finally ended. She finally saw the sun again. Just then, Hazel came over. Lena learned that Hazel was pregnant and couldn't help but peek at her belly, wondering what a beastman baby would look like. Would it look like a little animal? Just then, a group of unwelcome guests arrived. It was the scheming woman Levia, back to cause trouble. Levia immediately started taunting Lena. I heard you found a mate. How come you're not pregnant yet? Is there something wrong with you? Can you not have children? Lena turned away, ignoring her. Levia was so angry her face twitched. She lunged forward and grabbed Lena's arm. Lena cried out in pain and shook her off. Levia deliberately fell to the ground and started wailing. The crowd gasped and started pointing fingers at Lena. Her mind went blank. Hazel stepped in to defend her. You fell on your own. She didn't push you. Levia lay on the ground, throwing a tantrum and screaming, Lena tried to hurt me and my baby. Seeing Lena's helpless expression, Levia was secretly pleased. Suddenly, she got up and lunged at Lena, pushing her toward the edge of a cliff. Lena stumbled, lost her footing, and fell off the cliff. At that moment, she thought she was a goner. But at that critical juncture, the system suddenly activated its defense program and transported Lena to another location. When she slowly regained consciousness, she found herself lying in a vast sea of snow. Lena woke up and quickly checked her body, relieved to find she wasn't injured. This system is amazing. But when she looked around, all she could see was a vast expanse of white. It turned out the system had sent her to this godforsaken place to save her. She had no choice but to trudge toward the direction of the tribe. As the sun began to set, she fortunately found a cave to take shelter in. She opened her pack and looked at the meager supplies inside. Her stomach growled. I should have packed more meat. To keep warm, she decided to go out and look for firewood. As she cautiously poked her head out, she saw a person lying outside the cave entrance. She immediately ran out to investigate and found a handsome man who looked like he'd been beaten up. Lena couldn't bear to see such a handsome man freeze to death, but he was too big for her to lift. She had to drag him into the cave. Lena looked at the beastman before her. His features were stunningly handsome. His clothes were also far superior to what ordinary beastmen wore. They were made of high-quality fabric. A sparkling blue gem on his forehead mesmerized her. Are there other humans in this world? In a daze, she fell asleep. As soon as she was asleep, the man woke up. Where am I? Where are the ones who were chasing me? He looked and saw Lena, his pupils contracting. A fire? How is there a fire here? He quickly checked his body, afraid that Lena had taken advantage of him. After confirming his innocence was intact, he breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at Lena more closely and admired her. This little female is quite cute. When Lena opened her eyes, she was startled to see the man staring at her. The man quickly said, Thank you for saving me. Then he turned to leave. Don't move. Your wound was just bandaged. The man's eyes narrowed. Are you a shaman? Lena was frightened by his cold gaze and trembled. I'm just an ordinary female. My name is Lena. The man's eyes softened. My name is Silas. Lena, that's a beautiful name. Lena felt a tingling sensation. This man must be trying to charm me, but I have no proof. Lena, seeing where Silas was injured, suspected someone had tried to harm him. But looking at his icy face, she didn't dare ask. One day, Lena was so hungry her stomach was growling. Silas, seeing this, wanted to go hunting but was stopped by Lena. You're injured, you can't move. The man opened his shirt and showed her that his wound had completely healed. Lena was stunned. It was incredible. His wound had healed overnight. Silas got dressed to go hunting, but Lena only wanted to go back to the tribe. The man's brows furrowed tightly, and his icy expression immediately made her back down. Lena watched Silas leave, thinking he wouldn't be back for a while, and it was the perfect time to escape. She ran off in the direction of the tribe. Along the way, she tried to pick some wild fruit to eat, but it was inedible. It made her think of the roasted meat she had with Kaiser, and she felt even more miserable. The snow began to fall again. Lena was cold and hungry, her vision blurring. She finally collapsed from exhaustion. When she managed to lift her head, she saw a pair of long legs. It was Silas. What are you doing here? I want to go home. My mates are waiting for me. Silas's heart sank. He scooped Lena up. Have you been with them? No, Lena said, blushing with embarrassment. If not, then they're not your real mates. You should come with me. With that, Silas held Lena tightly and rushed back to the cave. Back at the cave, Silas started roasting meat. Lena saw his burned hands and was surprised. This guy wasn't afraid of fire. His tribe must be of a higher level. Silas handed the cooked meat to Lena and started eating raw meat himself, which made Lena's skin crawl. It turned out Silas didn't like hot food. He had only roasted the meat because Lena wanted it. Lena realized. This man was cold on the outside. He wasn't heartless on the inside. She picked up a piece of stone. After eating so much, a little ice was refreshing. Silas on the side was staring at her. Why are you staring at me? Want some ice? I don't like cold things. Only cold-blooded animals like that. Lena just wanted to smack him. You're the one who eats raw meat. Who's the cold-blooded one here? After eating, Lena fell asleep. A cold wind made her shiver. Silas, feeling sorry for her, got up and walked over to her. He took off his shirt, transformed into his beast form, and used his massive body to shield Lena from the wind, blocking the cave entrance. Lena was finally able to sleep soundly. The next day, when she woke up, she found a giant snake lying next to her. She was so scared she wet her pants and ran. The giant snake wanted to give the girl a real snake kiss. Lena was so scared she wet her pants again and ran, but the big black snake coiled around her and pulled her back. Don't move. I'm not going to eat you. Hearing the familiar voice, Lena froze. It turned out this giant snake was Silas. She looked back, wanting to cry. So this world was full of tigers, wolves, and now snakes. Looking at the terrifying black snake before her, Lena forced a smile. Can you turn back into your human form? The snake's eyes narrowed, and he looked a little sad. He suddenly flicked his long tongue out, wanting to give Lena another snake kiss. Lena quickly covered her mouth and trembled. Was he worried that she was disgusted and afraid of him? Lena mustered her courage and gently touched Silas's tongue. The sticky, soft tongue made her want to knead it. The snake felt a tingling sensation all over. Hey, you're touching a sensitive spot. Silas blushed. This female isn't afraid of me. I want to keep her like this forever so no one can take her from me. Then, Silas coiled around Lena and slithered out of the cave to hunt. Like a black train moving through the jungle. Lena chuckled wryly. This snake train was quite stable. Just then, the snake train came to a sudden halt and placed Lena in a tree. Then Silas slowly approached a crevice, used his tail to knock away the rocks, and snatched up a few sleeping bunnies. Lena had never seen this kind of hunting before. The bunny family was still dreaming when they became someone's dinner. After catching their prey, they returned to the cave. Silas gently set Lena down from his back and transformed back into his human form. Lena's eyes widened at the sight of his 18-pack, and she blushed furiously, quickly covering her eyes. You pervert! Silas was confused. You don't like my body? Whether I like it or not, you can't just be naked. Don't you know that men and women should keep their distance? Silas was completely lost. Lena then realized that this was the beast world, of course. They wouldn't know about such rules. She bent down and picked up a vine, which triggered a system quest. Host, please collect 300 plant seeds. You can refer to the sheepskin illustrated guide. Hearing this, Lena immediately looked at the guide and was surprised to find that the vine she had just picked contained a lot of starch. Her eyes lit up. Does this mean I can eat buns, noodles, and dumplings? She carefully put the vine away. Just then, Silas handed her a roasted rabbit. Lena took it and noticed that his hands were burned again. Next time, let me do the roasting. Silas's lips curved into a smile. Are you worried about me? Lena nodded. I don't want your hands to get burned again. Silas, hearing this, immediately moved closer. Then do you want to… Before he could finish, Lena interrupted. I already have mates. Silas's face fell. You haven't been with them, so they're not your real mates. Lena's jaw dropped and she was filled with shame. To me, as long as we like each other, we're real mates. Silas grabbed her arm. What about me? Don't you like me? I only like you as a friend. Silas's heart grew cold. He vowed to fight Kaiser and Shane, saying that the loser would have to give up Lena. Lena was about to refuse when Silas suddenly exuded a chilling, killing intent. If you refuse, I'll have to swallow you. Lena was so scared she wet her pants, not knowing what to do. Silas realized he had scared her. It was just something he said in anger. Seeing Lena like a frightened kitten, he couldn't help but kiss her on the lips. Lena flinched and backed away. You snake, why do you keep licking me? With that, she was pinned against the stone wall by the snake. Faced with this handsome and mischievous snake, Lena blushed and didn't dare to look at him. But Silas moved closer, and Lena could feel a strong wave of pheromones. Silas's eyes narrowed. Let's make a deal. He let go of her. If I can make you fall in love with me in 10 days, we'll become mates. If not, I'll give up and send you home. Lena thought for a moment. She couldn't possibly fall in love with this snake. So she gritted her teeth and agreed. Silas grinned mischievously and snuck another kiss. The snake, while the girl wasn't looking, swooped in for a kiss. Lena quickly turned her head, her face as red as a monkey's butt. Meanwhile, the scheming woman who had pushed Lena off the cliff was thrown into the dungeon. Just then, the wolf Shane walked toward her. A flash of surprise appeared in her eyes. She thought he was there to save her. But Shane's face was cold, his eyes filled with killing intent. Levia, how do you want to die? Levia was so scared she wet her pants. In her panic, she tried to argue that Lena had fallen off the cliff on her own. Shane sneered, easily seeing through her lies. You're still lying even when you're about to die. With that, he turned and left. Levia knew she was in deep trouble. Shane ordered his men to drag Levia out of the dungeon and throw her into a desolate wasteland. The place was teeming with wild beasts. A hungry wolf smelled her and immediately locked onto its target, pouncing on her with bared fangs. With a series of blood-curdling screams, Levia was quickly devoured by the beast. It was a fitting end, with only her bones left behind. At the same time, Kaiser risked his life to climb down the cliff and search for Lena in the deep mountains. Lena, at that moment, was riding the snake train through the jungle, collecting plant seeds according to the system's quest. The giant snake suddenly flicked its tongue at her, and then opened its mouth to spit out 2 fruits. According to the illustrated guide, this fruit was not only delicious, but also a rare medicinal herb for external injuries. Lena took the fruit, pleasantly surprised. The black snake lowered its head, its eyes darting toward Lena. She was confused. Did he want her to pat his head and praise him? What a clingy little snake. She reached out and touched his tongue. The big snake felt a tingling sensation all over. Lena's hand is so soft. Back at the cave, Lena suddenly started coughing. She had caught a cold and had a high fever, her body shivering uncontrollably. Soon she collapsed. Silas immediately rushed to her side. Since a snake's body is cold, he quickly unbuttoned his shirt and let Lena lean against him to cool down. Lena instantly felt cooler and unconsciously snuggled against his cold 18-pack. But the next moment, she had another coughing fit. Silas took a piece of ice, let it melt in his mouth, and carefully fed the water to Lena. After drinking the water, she felt a little better. But then she had another violent coughing fit and coughed up blood. Silas held her tightly. I finally found a female I like. I can't lose her. Lena suddenly felt dizzy and couldn't make a sound. At that critical moment, she remembered the fruit she had found earlier. She opened her pack, ate one, and the pain in her lungs immediately subsided. She quickly told Silas to go find more of the fruit. Learning that the fruit could cure Lena, Silas immediately rushed out into the snow. But the ground was covered in a thick layer of snow, and he couldn't find any of the fruit. So he went to the wild boar tribe at night, wanting to trade for the fruit, but the boar chief refused. Silas then offered to trade wild rabbit meat, but the chief refused again. Silas's face darkened. Lena is in danger. In that case, I have no choice but to take it. He transformed into his beast form, opened his mouth wide, and swallowed the chief whole. Holy cow, the chief was eaten. The boars, seeing this, swarmed toward Silas. He smelled the fruit and followed the scent into a cave. Inside, he found a large stash of the fruit. He grabbed a bag and was about to leave when he was blocked by the angry boars. The boars lit torches, intending to burn him alive. Silas ignored the flames and protected the fruit with his life. He gritted his teeth, endured the pain, and rushed out of the cave. He dragged his battered body and ran back as fast as he could, with the boars in hot pursuit. In the cave, Lena was still coughing. Finally, Silas made it back. He saw that Lena had lost consciousness and immediately transformed back into his human form. He chewed a piece of the fruit and fed it to her. After eating the fruit, Lena slowly opened her eyes. Silas, did you just feed me the fruit? Silas nodded. Are you feeling better? I'm much better now, thank you. Just then, they heard footsteps outside the cave. The boar beastmen had caught up. For Lena's safety, Silas decided to send her back to the tribe first. But when Lena saw his injuries, she insisted on taking him back to the tribe for treatment. You saved me, I have to repay you. Silas was touched. Lena's attitude toward me seems to be changing. But this was no time for romance. He said firmly, It's just a small injury, I don't need your pity. That's not what I mean. With that, Lena grabbed his waist, wanting to pull him back to the tribe for treatment. But for Lena's safety, Silas insisted on staying behind to lure the boars away. He had only one request, to become Lena's mate. Lena looked at his sincere and determined eyes and was a little hesitant. She said that becoming mates was a serious matter and that she needed the consent of her other two mates. Silas was overjoyed. But the situation was critical, and he had to get Lena to leave first. The boars were getting closer. In an instant, a dazzling light emanated from Silas's body. He slowly took off the blue gem on his forehead and gently placed it in Lena's hand. "Keep this with you and I'll always be able to feel if you're safe." Lena was surprised. So the gem on his forehead wasn't natural. With this gem, they could contact each other at any time. Lena looked up and saw Silas's 18-pack again, her face turning red. She quickly turned away. "Wait for me, I'll be back." With that, she ran toward the wolf tribe. The boars had reached the cave entrance. A pair of flashing eyes slowly appeared from within the cave. Silas opened his mouth wide and charged out, vowing to send these boars to their graves. She had just escaped the boars' clutches, only to fall into a wolf's den, where she was nearly defiled by a hungry wolf. Fortunately, Kaiser saved her, but the wolves followed them back to the tribe. Their leader, Aki, was particularly brutal, even ripping off the heads of the tribe's beastmen. A beastman ran back in a panic. "Aki and a group of male beastmen have invaded." Shane, hearing this, told Kaiser to stay behind and protect Lena while he led the other beastmen to fight. However, the cunning wolves turned and ran. They split into two groups. Some ran ahead to lure Shane away, while Aki and a group of wolves hid. Meanwhile, Lena regained consciousness, sat up and shouted, "Silas!" When she saw that it was Kaiser, she couldn't help but throw herself into his arms. She suddenly remembered Silas's safety and urged Kaiser to go save him. Kaiser was confused. "Silas? He's a giant snake. He was seriously injured saving me. You have to go save him." With that, Lena gave Kaiser the gem from Silas's forehead. Then Kaiser led a group of men to rescue Silas. Just then, the shaman brought a bowl of medicine for Lena. Looking at the bowl, she felt like she was looking at a death sentence. The medicine looked even worse than the soup of oblivion. Another beastman rushed in to report that the evil wolves from the Black River tribe had returned, and they were too strong to hold back. Everyone realized they had fallen for a diversion tactic. The shaman quickly told the females to hide in the cellar. "No matter what happens outside, don't come out." Lena, worried about the shaman's safety, urged him to hide with them, but he was resolute. His eyes were filled with a grim determination. He was going to fight the enemy to the death. The shaman took off his necklace and gave it to Lena. "Give this wolf tooth necklace to Shane. Tell him to avenge us." With that, he closed the cellar door. Tears streamed down Lena's face. She knew the shaman was sacrificing his life to protect them. After covering the secret door, the shaman's eyes were sharp and determined. He transformed into his beast form and fearlessly charged the enemy. The Stonefang Wolf tribe has no cowards. With a series of fierce battles, the Stonefang Wolf tribe suffered heavy casualties. The wolf shaman, though covered in wounds, was still unyielding. A hungry wolf, seeing this, bit down hard on his neck and slammed him against a stone wall. The wolf transformed back into his human form and sneered. The shaman recognized him. "Aki, it's you?" Aki raised his claws. "It's me. Surprised?" With that, he swiped at the wolf shaman. The shaman lay on the ground, dying, his body twitching, before he slowly closed his eyes. "Shane, you must lead the Stonefang people out of this endless night." In the cellar, the females were terrified. Hazel's stomach suddenly cramped in pain. She was about to give birth. But above them, the evil wolves were searching for Lena, and she didn't dare to make a sound. Only when the footsteps faded did she relax a little. Hazel, gritting her teeth, was clearly at her limit. She had no choice but to give birth in the cellar. Lena found a roll of animal hide and told Hazel to bite on it. "No matter how much it hurts, don't make a sound." To deliver the baby successfully, Hazel pushed with all her might and finally gave birth to the first cub, followed by another and another until she had 8. Wait, there was one more. In the chaos, Hazel gave birth to 9 cubs in total. After giving birth, she finally quieted down, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. But then one of the cubs peed, spraying everyone. At the same time, Shane sensed something was wrong and ordered everyone to return to the tribe, but they were ambushed by the hungry wolves. The wolves charged, but Shane stood his ground. "Who dares to stop me?" He transformed into his beast form, leaped into the air, and his body emanated an icy chill. Everywhere he passed, everything froze. In an instant, the enemies were all turned into ice sculptures, which Shane shattered with a single blow. The lead shaman was stunned. He realized Shane had awakened a 1-star soul beast and turned to run. Shane immediately ordered everyone to rush back to the tribe. Meanwhile, Kaiser also sensed that Lena was in danger and immediately turned back. But by the time they arrived, it was too late. All the beastmen in the tribe had been killed. Just then, Kaiser arrived. "Where's Lena? Is she okay?" Shane snapped back to reality. He thought that since there were no female bodies, Lena and the other females must have hidden. But the next moment, he froze when he saw the wolf shaman's body. Just then, Kaiser found the entrance to the cellar, and the females were finally rescued. But Lena had fainted. Kaiser quickly picked her up. Lena was in a daze, unable to open her eyes. Am I dead? Maybe this is all a dream? And when I open my eyes, I'll be back in my bathtub. But a familiar voice echoed in her mind. Lena, you said you would come back for me. Why didn't you? Lena was jolted awake by the image of a large black snake and frantically threw herself into a man's arms. Once she realized where she was, she pushed him away. Big pervert! Kaiser looked completely innocent and confused. Lena, don't you remember me? Lena pretended not to know him. You're such a big idiot. With that, Kaiser gently pinched her nose. Lena sneezed and fell backward. Just then, Shane rushed in and saw her about to fall flat on her face. He quickly caught her. The wolf's eyes darted around mischievously. Lena frowned. What are you up to? I want to have babies with you. He started sniffing her, only to be kicked away by Kaiser a second later. Lena looked at the seeds she had collected, feeling like a piece of her memory was missing. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed in her mind. Lena, why didn't you come back for me? The voice gave her a splitting headache. Just then, a large hand reached for her, and Lena was startled. She turned to see it was Kaiser. This is bananas, Lena muttered. I'm not going to think about it anymore. My head hurts. Kaiser watched her go, thinking to himself, Lena seems to have forgotten who this gem belongs to. That evening, the three of them were having a simple hot pot, since the tribe's food had been plundered. Shane planned to go and reclaim their food and avenge the wolf shaman. But the Blackwater tribe had many mixed-breed beastmen. Kaiser came up with a plan to use the gem from Silas's forehead to lure the wild horse tribe. How did you get such a precious crystal? Lena brought it back. Lena looked at it, but couldn't remember anything about the crystal. Her intuition told her it was important. Kaiser gently ruffled her hair. Don't worry, I'll give it back to you when we're done. But we never had a crystal like this stolen from us. If the wild horse tribe can't find it, then it has nothing to do with us. Shane agreed to the plan. Lena thought to herself that Kaiser wasn't as innocent as he looked. He could spin a lie without batting an eye. Afterward, Shane went to the wild horse tribe. At first, they ignored him. But when Shane took out the precious crystal, the materialistic wild horse's eyes lit up. Shane took the opportunity to whisper in their ears, and they quickly formed an alliance to fight the Blackwater wolf tribe. Shane returned and gave the gem back to Lena. As she was pondering its origin, she triggered another system quest. Host, please collect 5 different colored crystals. You will receive a special reward upon completion. Lena had almost forgotten about the system. Hearing about a special reward, she was instantly excited. Shane was completely smitten by Lena's cuteness but tried to act calm. Crystals can enhance a beast's soul, so they're very hard for most people to obtain. Lena deflated. Shane, seeing this, handed her a pouch. Inside were crystals. These colorless crystals are called gold coins. They're used as currency in the tribe. Lena, hearing this, seemed to remember something. She had seen Kaiser use gold coins at the market before. She took only one crystal and handed the pouch back to Shane. The little wolf's heart shattered. He thought she was looking down on him for not having enough. Lena explained that she didn't need that many crystals, but Shane insisted on giving her the pouch, and then stormed off to earn more gold coins. Lena took out her stored food and distributed it among the tribe's beastmen. She looked down and saw a pile of fruit pits. She had saved from some sweet fruits, and there were quite a lot of them. Just then, the system notification sounded. Congratulations, host, for collecting 300 seeds. Green appeared. The reward is being delivered, please check. A head gradually appeared on the screen. Lena's jaw dropped. How do you suddenly have an avatar? The yellow-haired system avatar looked stern. Host, please do not waste time on irrelevant topics. A seed fell into Lena's hand. It had a unique fragrance. Lena immediately checked her guide but found no record of it. This is the seed of a divine tree. Of course, it's not in the first guide. To know what a divine tree is, you need to collect the other guides. Lena was ecstatic. If I collect all 7 guides, can I summon a divine dragon? The system was speechless. Do you think you're Sun Wukong summoning divine dragons? Lena couldn't help but laugh. Teasing the cold system was quite fun. The system continued. This is a dead seed. You can only eat it directly. Lena was disgusted. Can I have a different reward? The system fell silent. Hey, don't play dead, you stupid system! The system was so angry its yellow hair almost turned green. If you don't eat it, I'm taking it back. Lena, seeing that things were serious, was about to put the seed in her mouth when it suddenly drilled into her stomach on its own. Lena was confused. What's the use of eating it? The divine tree is the source of all plants. It will increase your affinity with nature. With that, the system vanished. The girl, while the big tiger wasn't looking, boldly kissed him, offering herself without hesitation. Kaiser was completely baffled. When he came to his senses, he quickly pushed her away. Hold of yourself! I'm perfectly calm and I know exactly what I'm doing. In her past life, she had lived a lonely existence, with no one to love or care for her. But since coming to the beast world, she had finally found two people who truly loved her. This time, she didn't want to be alone again. Kaiser looked at his tearful wife and gently took her hand. I don't want you to give me your first time on an impulse. I'm afraid you'll regret it later. I won't regret it, Lena said firmly. She wiped her tears, her voice choked with emotion. Will you have cubs with me? As soon as the words left her mouth, she blushed furiously, her hands trembling, afraid the big tiger would refuse. Kaiser pulled her into a tight embrace, then took off his shirt, revealing his muscular 18-pack, and kissed her. This time Lena didn't pull away. The gentle kisses were like feathers against her heart, yet they ignited a wildfire of passion between them. The next day, Lena was so sore, she could barely get out of bed. Just then, the door creaked open, and Kaiser walked in with a basin of water. Lena was instantly embarrassed, not knowing how to face him. Lena, you're dirty. Let me help you wash up. Lena shot up and refused. No, I'll do it myself. But as she spoke, a sharp pain shot through her waist. Yesterday had been too intense, and her whole body was aching. After some coaxing from Kaiser, Lena reluctantly let him help her wash. The big tiger's eyes were hazy. Lena, your skin is so soft, smooth, and fair. Lena was so embarrassed she wanted to dig a hole and hide. Is he thinking about again? At that thought, she quickly got dressed and ran out. I'm going to find Hazel. Once outside, she breathed a sigh of relief. That was close. I feel like that tiger could eat me at any moment. She limped over to find Hazel. Hazel sniffed her and grinned. Hey, you smell like Kaiser. So you two finally… Before she could finish, Lena covered her mouth. Keep your voice down. Her face turned as red as a ripe apple. She quickly grabbed one of Hazel's cubs and started petting it. I'm not talking to an expert like you. When Shane gets back and finds out you've been claimed, he's going to explode. Lena was startled. Will it be that bad? What if they start fighting? Don't worry, it's normal for males to get jealous and fight. They'll fight it out and become one big family. As she spoke, tears welled up in Hazel's eyes, as she remembered her own mates who had died in battle. Lena then remembered what had happened to Hazel, and was about to comfort her when a beastman rushed in. Lena, Bluebell is about to give birth. The female beastman named Bluebell was wailing on the ground. Lena was speechless. Why are you calling me for a birth? I'm not an obstetrician. She was about to leave when she heard the pregnant woman calling her name. She had no choice but to step in. Well, here goes nothing. She told a beastman to boil water and asked Hazel to get some pain-relieving primal leaf fruit. Bluebell held onto Lena's hand like a lifeline, afraid she would leave. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Just then, Kaiser brought a basin of hot water. Lena had the pregnant woman eat the primal leaf fruit. Bluebell's mates waited anxiously. After a collective effort, Bluebell successfully gave birth to 5 cubs, including 1 female. Everyone cheered. After all, in the beast world, females were extremely precious. Lena gently held a small wolf cub, and it licked her face affectionately. She marveled at the wonder of this world. Will I also have children in this world? Back home, Lena was exhausted. Kaiser wrapped his arms around her waist and gently squeezed. Tired? Let me give you a massage. With that, his hands began to wander over her body. Lena felt a tingling sensation all over. Stop, that's enough. Kaiser pressed against her back. I'm just giving you a massage. Massage my foot. You're clearly up to no good. Lena could feel Kaiser's hot body, and her face turned bright red. Can you please be a little… Before she could finish, Kaiser had pinned her to the bed, and they were at it again. The big tiger and the girl were getting frisky, and Lena couldn't take it anymore, surrendering completely. Just as she was catching her breath, Kaiser asked her to look at his 18-pack. Lena was so embarrassed her toes could have dug a 3-bedroom apartment. Well, the way you said it was so misleading. She looked closely at the beast soul mark on Kaiser's waist. The tiger tattoo now had a crown of thorns. It appeared on the night we consummated our bond. Lena was surprised. So you're upgrading? Is this a coincidence? Kaiser shook his head. It's not a coincidence. It's because you have something magical inside you. Being with you makes a beast's soul stronger. Lena then realized it was the divine tree seed the system had given her. Kaiser was curious and asked how she had gotten it. Lena felt a pang of guilt and avoided his gaze, making up a lame excuse. Someone gave it to me. She thought to herself, I can't just tell you I'm from another world. Seeing that she didn't want to say more, Kaiser didn't press the issue. Remember, Don't tell anyone you have the divine tree seed inside you, or those beasts will devour you. Lena nodded eagerly. Got it! Suddenly, a more pressing problem occurred to her. She went to find Hazel, and blushing asked how females could prevent pregnancy. Hazel was stunned. Why are you asking that? Lena said she didn't want to have cubs so soon. Her words made Hazel laugh. We don't have contraception here. I'm still looking forward to seeing if you'll have a little tiger or a little wolf first. Lena was speechless. The beastmen here had no concept of contraception. After all, children meant the future of the tribe. But in this dangerous world, getting pregnant now was too risky. She tried calling the system, and surprisingly, it appeared. How may I help you, host? Lena immediately put on a fawning smile. Do you have any birth control pills? The system was stunned, its eyes widening like saucers. And then it vanished without a word. Lena had no choice but to look for a solution in her guide. Her eyes lit up when she found a record of a rootless flower that could suppress a female's ovulation. She thought this might work. So she went to find Kaiser, and in a sweet voice said she wanted to go hunting with him. He readily agreed. Lena happily threw herself into his arms. Thank you, Kaiser. Before he could finish, she guessed what he was thinking and quickly moved away. No thanks, I'm tired today, I'm going to bed early. That night, Lena dreamed of that haunting voice again. You don't even remember me? You said you would come back to save me. Don't you know I've been waiting for you? You liar! Lena woke up with a start. The cold, slightly chilling voice felt familiar, but she couldn't remember who it belonged to. The next day, Lena went hunting with Kaiser, and a group of beastmen followed them. They kept calling her Little Bunny, while Lena was focused on finding the rootless flower for contraception. She pushed aside some bushes and finally found it. Then she happily went to meet up with Kaiser. But the next moment she froze. Lena, what's wrong? Look over there. Kaiser followed her gaze and saw a group of beastmen walking toward them. It was Shane, returned from his revenge quest. Lena was overjoyed. Shane excitedly shouted, telling everyone, "We won!" He had not only reclaimed all their stolen supplies, but had also raided the enemy's den. Lena ran to greet him. Shane scooped her up and showered her with kisses and hugs. The couple, who hadn't seen each other in a while, held each other tightly. But suddenly Shane's expression changed. He smelled Kaiser's scent on Lena. He pushed her away and roared in anger. Been with Kaiser? Lena stammered, not knowing how to explain. Shane was so angry his face turned green. You damn tiger, you took advantage of my absence and claimed Lena. Kaiser's brow furrowed. Lena and I are mates. It's only natural for us to be together. We agreed to compete fairly. You're a liar and a scoundrel. With that, Shane lunged at Kaiser, but his punch missed. He continued to attack relentlessly, but Kaiser easily parried his blows. Shane transformed into his beast form, baring his fangs viciously. Kaiser's expression changed, and he was about to transform as well. The two rivals were on the verge of a full-blown fight. At that critical moment, Lena stood between them. Shane, stop! I wanted to be with Kaiser. Shane's heart shattered. He looked at her with tearful, pitiful eyes. You don't like me at all. In your heart, there's only that stinking tiger. Of course not, Lena was about to explain. But Shane burst into tears and ran away. Lena gave her first time to the big tiger, and the little wolf was overwhelmed with jealousy. He burst into tears and ran off in a fit of rage. Shane is hot-tempered. Let him cool down first. Just as Lena was trying to figure out what to do, she heard crying from behind. A female beastman was sobbing, worried about her mate's injuries. With the wolf shaman gone, the tribe had no doctor. Lena stepped forward and began examining the injured beastman. The female cried and begged, Lena, please save him. In the cave, the injured males were groaning in pain, and Shane was pacing anxiously. Just then, he heard Lena call out, Shane, do you have any alcohol and crisp fruits? Lena was speechless. This guy's jealousy was off the charts. She finally snapped, I need the alcohol and fruit to save people. Are you going to get them or not? The little wolf immediately backed down and grumpily brought her the alcohol and fruit. Lena roared, What are you grumbling about? Come here and help me hold him down while I treat his wound. The other beastmen were astonished. They never knew Lena knew medicine. They held down the injured beastman's limbs. The patient was still confused. When Lena started cleaning his wound with alcohol, making him scream in pain. Then she applied the crushed crisp fruit to the wound. After a while, the patient's pain subsided. Everyone was amazed and praised Lena as a miracle doctor. Lena then organized everyone to help bandage the other injured men. After a long time, she was exhausted. Just then, Shane walked over, his proud expression tinged with concern. He crouched down. Lena, seeing this, asked, Are you going to carry me back? Shane huffed, Obviously, get on. Lena secretly smiled. He was such a tsundere. She carefully climbed onto Shane's strong wolf back. The rugged mountain path was rough under his paws, but his steps were steady. The mountain wind carried the unique scent of wolf fur, and Lena couldn't resist nibbling on his perked-up wolf ear. Shane instantly blushed. "What are you doing? Don't try to seduce me." Lena hugged his neck tightly. "I'm just glad you came back safely." Shane didn't quite understand what she meant. Lena explained, "I had a nightmare that something happened to you all." Shane felt her body trembling and quickly changed the subject. "Don't think you can just be with Kaiser and ignore me." Lena's lips twitched. In this world, with Shane and Kaiser by her side, her fear had dissipated. Back at the cave, Lena handed Shane a piece of roasted meat. The little wolf reluctantly took a bite, but he was secretly overjoyed. After all, Lena had made this for him. He was so excited his ears turned pink. Kaiser handed Lena a bowl of meat soup, and she beamed. The meat in Shane's hand suddenly didn't taste as good. Bold words escaped his lips. "You're sleeping with me tonight." Lena almost choked on her soup. "Tonight? I'm your mate. If you can be with the tiger, why can't you be with me?" Lena was speechless, not knowing how to respond. She looked at Kaiser for help. He said, "As long as Lena agrees, I won't interfere." Shane took Lena's hand. "Lena, I want to show you something." He led her to his room. A large bed was covered in flowers and jewels. "I decorated it. Do you like it?" Shane was like a domineering CEO, showering her with gifts and placing a diamond-studded flower crown on her head. His gaze was firm. "Lena, let me be your true male." Lena's heart pounded. The little wolf was impatient and pulled off her clothes. She quickly covered her chest. "What are you doing?" Shane proudly showed off his beast soul and pinned her to the bed. Lena flatly refused, saying she wasn't ready to be a mother. Shane was heartbroken and disappointed, but he didn't want to force her, so he had to suppress his burning desire. Lena, seeing how much he was suffering, felt a little sorry for him and suggested applying a contraceptive potion. Shane's sadness immediately turned to joy, his face turning red to the tips of his ears, and he got a nosebleed from excitement. She snatched the potion from him. "No, that's too embarrassing. I'll do it myself." Shane looked pitifully at her. Lena was firm and made him turn around. The little wolf reluctantly obeyed. Then she poured out the potion and carefully applied it to herself. At that critical moment, Shane suddenly turned around. Lena felt a hot presence behind her. She quickly turned, and before she could speak, he pulled her into a tight embrace. "Lena, are you done yet? My heart is about to explode." Lena couldn't resist his intense gaze, and the potion fell from her hand. Then they sealed their bond with a passionate kiss, their love blossoming like a field of flowers. Lena barely made it through the night. The couple had been fighting monsters all night long, but the energetic little wolf wanted to continue and was kicked out by his wife. Shane ran right into Kaiser, looking incredibly smug. "Lena's first litter of cubs will definitely be mine." Kaiser's face filled with killing intent. "We'll see about that." Seeing that Shane and Lena had consummated their bond, Kaiser felt an unbearable pain in his heart. Shane, on the other hand, was grinning from ear to ear and went to cook a large pot of meat. With a wolf cub feeding her meat and a tiger handing her soup, Lena felt both awkward and pressured, as if she could be eaten by the two beasts at any moment. A few days later, the injured beastman had fully recovered, all thanks to Lena. Shane scooped up his wife and held her high. "Lena, you're amazing. You're the female I chose." Lena was speechless. "Are you praising me or yourself?" Shane also suggested that Lena become the wolf tribe's shaman. She was stunned, and quickly said she only knew a little and couldn't take on such a role. But Shane insisted that the tribe's beastmen trusted her. Kaiser agreed. "That's right. Everyone has great faith in you. You should give it a try." Lena thought for a moment, but still felt she wasn't qualified. "If someone in the tribe gets hurt, I can help out." Just then, she noticed the beast soul mark on Shane's shoulder. The wolf tattoo now had a crown of thorns. She remembered it wasn't there before, but it had appeared after she and Shane had been together last night. Shane looked at his own beast mark confused. After Kaiser's explanation, he learned that being with Lena could strengthen his beast soul. Hearing this, Shane was eager to be with Lena again. She quickly hid behind Kaiser. "I don't want to be with you. I'm resting tonight, just sleeping." The little wolf was disappointed. "You like Kaiser that much? What do I not have that he does?" Shane insisted on sleeping with Lena, but Kaiser said she was too tired and should sleep alone tonight. Shane snorted. How do I know you won't sneak in?" The two rivals were on the verge of a fight. Lena roared, "Stop fighting, let's just all sleep together." The three of them looked at each other, and the room fell silent. Kaiser was the first to agree. Shane declared, "Good idea, let's all sleep together. Who's afraid of who?" Lena was speechless. "I just said that offhand, and they didn't even object." The two beasts then started moving, the two beds together. Lena looked at the giant bed they had made and wanted to cry. Now she couldn't even use the excuse that the bed was too small. The three of them lay quietly on the bed, and the atmosphere was incredibly awkward. Kaiser urged Lena, "Hurry up and sleep." Shane moved closer. "I'll warm your feet for you." Lena quickly refused. "Bro, I really don't need that. You're making me nervous." 5 minutes later, Lena was fast asleep. The little wolf pouted. She really fell asleep. Kaiser sat up. She must be really tired. He kissed his wife on the forehead. Shane, seeing this, rolled his eyes. "Kissing Lena right in front of me. I'm going to kiss her too." With that, he puckered his lips and showered Lena's face with kisses. Although the scene of the three of them sleeping in the same bed was a bit strange, there was a warm feeling of them all keeping each other warm. As the snow gradually melted, winter was coming to an end. The injured beastmen had also recovered, and more of them were coming to Lena for treatment. She prescribed medicine according to her guide, and it was usually effective. So she temporarily took over the shaman's position and earned everyone's sincere respect. Spring arrived and everything came back to life. Suddenly, ding, the system notification sounded. "Congrats on making it through the winter. The quest reward is now being delivered. Please check." A moment later, Lena felt a burning sensation in her hand. She looked down and saw 5 sparkling rings. She casually picked up a pink ring and put it on without a second thought. But after putting it on, she regretted it deeply. The system informed her that this was a subordinate ring, and that the storage space could only be activated by wearing the master ring. And once the rings were on, they couldn't be taken off. Lena had an idea to put on the master ring as well, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't get it on. The system reminded her again. The subordinate ring is controlled by the master ring. The person wearing the master ring will be in control. Seeing the system's smug look, Lena was furious. "I'm not going to be controlled by anyone. I'll keep this master ring for myself." But if no one wears the master ring, the space can't be activated. Back home, Lena was listless. Kaiser thought his wife was being bullied and gently pulled her into his arms. "Did something happen? Tell me, and I'll help you solve it." Lena thought for a moment. In this world, the person she trusted most was Kaiser. After much consideration, if she had to choose someone to wear the master ring, Kaiser was the most suitable. So she personally put the master ring on his hand. Kaiser looked at the ring, confused. Lena didn't explain much. Just told him to try saying "open space." He did as he was told. Open space. A dazzling golden light flashed. When they slowly opened their eyes, they saw a square opening in front of them. Lena was amazed. It really is a space. She tried throwing a pillow in and found that it really could store things. Then she put all her treasures into the space. The space was incredibly large, as if it could hold an infinite amount of things, but she didn't know if it could store living things. Lena suddenly remembered she had 3 rings left and gave one to Shane, hiding the fact that it was a subordinate ring. The little wolf was overjoyed, but Lena felt a little guilty. Shane's eyes darted toward her, and the next moment he pounced on her. "You gave me a gift. Does that mean you like me now too? If you weren't so horny all the time, I'd like you more." Shane was stunned. "I can't help it. I only feel this way for you." With that, he silenced his wife with a kiss, and they couldn't help but get frisky. The little wolf wanted to be with his wife again, but was slapped across the face. But he wasn't giving up. 2 hours later, Lena stumbled out of the room and ran right into Kaiser. She panicked, feeling a little guilty. Kaiser's eyes narrowed, and he saw the hickey on her neck. He was immediately overcome with jealousy and wanted to kill Shane. He turned and left with a dark expression. Lena, sensing his bad mood, quickly ran after him and grabbed his hand. "You're not yourself today." "What's wrong?" Kaiser's face was as cold as a glacier. He hugged her tightly. "Lena, I regret it. I should have taken you somewhere else for the winter. Then you wouldn't have become Shane's mate." The big tiger was so angry his heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys all ached. And with the influence of the master ring, he even had the urge to kill Shane. Lena quickly calmed him down, promising not to find any other males. Just then, the system sneered, "Heh, don't be so sure, woman." This made Lena furious. "You annoying system!" Meanwhile, Shane had cooked some meat and happily brought a bowl to Lena. He happened to see the ring on Kaiser's hand and proudly showed off his own. "I have a ring too." Kaiser's face instantly darkened. He really wanted to punch this smug wolf in the head. A few days later, Lena had collected more and more seeds. Shane excitedly ran in and told her there was a piece of land at the foot of the mountain that was perfect for planting. So they went there. But they didn't have shovels, so Lena had to tie a sharpened stone to a stick to make a simple hoe. But she was too weak to dig. Kaiser, seeing this, took the hoe from her and started digging according to her instructions. Watching his perfect muscles, Lena drooled. Shane on the side rolled his eyes. It's just digging. I can do that too. But when he swung the hoe, he broke the handle. So he just started digging with his claws and quickly tilled the land. Lena couldn't help but admire him. You're amazing. Shane was so proud his lips almost touched the sky. Kaiser's face darkened. No, my possessiveness is acting up again. He gripped the hoe handle tightly. For Lena, I have to work on my self-control. A girl traveled to the beast world, with a wolf husband helping her farm and a tiger husband catching fish. Life was good. Tonight, Lena decided to show off her skills and make a grand fish feast for her two beast mates. The big tiger took a bite, and the delicious taste instantly spread through his mouth. Even the little wolf, who had never liked fish, was completely won over by her fish feast. Shane stared at his wife with affection. Lena knew this was trouble. That look, does he want to, again? At that thought, she quickly ran out. But as soon as she escaped the wolf's den, she fell into the tiger's den. Kaiser suddenly wrapped his arms around her waist from behind, pinned her to the bed, and they started getting frisky again. Spring arrived, and the vegetables Lena had planted sprouted, but they grew strangely large, ridiculously large. She had to use all her strength to tie the leaves into bundles. When she cooked them, she was worried they wouldn't be edible, but they turned out to be incredibly delicious, even more so than fish soup. However, Kaiser and Shane thought they were just okay. Shane, chewing on a leaf, complained, "This is so tough. Is it for us to grind our teeth on?" Lena was speechless. You males may not like it, but the female beastmen love it. Just then, Hazel walked in. Lena, do you have any more of that sweet cabbage you gave me? Other females also praised the cabbage. Seeing how much everyone liked it, Lena decided to distribute the seeds. And so, the Stonefang wolf tribe began farming. But Lena noticed a strange phenomenon. The vegetables grown by the other beastmen were tiny, while hers were gigantic. As she was pondering the reason, the system notification sounded, because you've got the God tree seed inside you. The divine tree seed increases your affinity with nature, so the trees are all competing to grow huge to win your favor. Lena gently patted a small cabbage. You've all worked so hard. Just then Shane came over and asked her to go fishing. The river was full of fish, and he was confident. Hey, this time I'll show you what I'm made of. With that, he jumped into the river. But half an hour went by and still no fish. Lena looked at him with disdain. Your fishing skills are way worse than Kaiser's. You haven't caught a single one. Shane was indignant. Who says I can't? He dove back into the river and started paddling furiously. Lena couldn't help but laugh. What a silly wolf. Suddenly, a fish jumped out of the river and flopped in front of her. Then another one. As soon as she picked them up, several more jumped onto the shore. Soon she had a full basket. Her luck was incredible. It was as if the fish were just giving themselves to her. She walked along the river, picking up fish. Shane finally caught a fish, only to find that Lena was gone. Lena had wandered far away. Just as she was about to turn back, she heard the sound of rushing water behind her. She turned and saw a naked man. He had a cold expression and an icy tone. I finally found you? Lena was completely baffled. She had no idea who this handsome but cold man was. Why is he looking at me with such hatred and pain? So you've already forgotten me? You promised you would come back for me. Hearing this, Lena's head throbbed. Silas began to recount their past together. I waited for you in the stone cave for a long time. The snow outside melted, and the flowers on the hillside withered. But you never came back. Lena couldn't remember anything about her past with Silas. Silas's face was filled with rage. You lied to me! Lena, sensing the killing intent in his eyes, turned and ran. Silas raised his indestructible snake tail and coiled it around her. Her jaw dropped. Holy cow, it's a snake. As her fish basket fell, the fish flopped around. When Lena regained consciousness, she found herself in a strange cave. She quickly got up. I remember now, I was captured by that man's snake tail. Suddenly, she heard a rustling sound outside the cave. It was Silas. You're awake? Lena quickly asked, Where is this? Silas answered seriously, This is our home. Lena was confused. You must have the wrong person. We've never met. Before she could finish, Silas crushed a fruit in his hand and lunged at her. The black snake flicked its tongue, kissing the girl's face, then lifted her high and pinned her against the wall, his eyes cold and sharp. You promised you would come back, but you never did. You lied to me. Lena's legs went weak. I'm sorry, I might have forgotten some things after I had a fever. As she spoke, tears welled up in her eyes. Silas remained cold on the outside, but his heart ached. He pulled her into his arms and licked her face. But the next moment, his expression turned menacing. You smell of other males. I waited for you to come back, and you were with someone else. He ripped her clothes and tore the pendant from her neck. Do you remember this gem? I gave it to you? Lena was completely blank. She had no memory of it. Can you please not get so close to me? I feel sick. Hearing this, Silas's eyes narrowed. Rather than watch you leave and go to another male, I'd rather keep you with me forever. He bit down on her neck, and blood trickled down her skin. It hurts. Is he trying to kill me? Lena felt dizzy, and images of Silas gradually appeared in her mind. All their past memories came flooding back. She remembered how he had been seriously injured saving her, how he had cared for her, but she had left him alone in the cold stone cave, letting winter turn to spring without ever going back for him. Lena snapped back to her senses. I remember. She hugged Silas tightly, her tears soaking her face. Silas, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have forgotten you. Silas was stunned for a few seconds, asking in disbelief, you remember me? At that critical moment, there was a loud explosion and rocks flew everywhere. It was Shane. Snake Beast, let go of Lena! Lena was too weak to even make a sound. Shane, seeing this, froze, and then transformed into his beast form. You hurt Lena! I'll kill you! With that, he lunged at Silas. Silas's eyes narrowed. He raised his indestructible snake tail and swatted Shane away. Fortunately, Kaiser was there to catch him. Kaiser, you're just in time. This snake beast captured Lena. Let's kill this snake together. Kaiser's face was filled with killing intent. Let go of Lena! With a roar, he also transformed into his tiger form. Silas was defiant. I won't give Lena up even if I die. He also transformed into his giant snake form and bit down on Shane. At that moment, Lena's breathing was shallow and she was on the verge of death. Kaiser knew something was wrong and roared at Silas. What did you do to Lena? She's dying! Silas then realized that Lena had been poisoned by his venom. The best antidote for snake venom was snake blood. Kaiser suggested trying it on Shane first. If he was fine after drinking the snake blood, then they could save Lena. Shane wanted to curse Kaiser's entire family. You stinking tiger, you're using me as a guinea pig. But when he saw his own poisoned paw, he had no choice but to be the test subject. Silas bit his own hand and let Shane drink his blood. Miraculously, after drinking the blood, Shane's wound slowly healed. Silas quickly picked up Lena and fed her his blood. Everyone waited anxiously. Soon, Lena finally woke up. She was about to apologize to Silas, but could only make gurgling sounds. You're weak. The venom has just been neutralized. You'll be able to talk after tonight. Just then, Shane rushed over. Give Lena back to me. You've hurt her so much and you still won't let go? Silas's heart ached. He thought about how Lena always got hurt when she was with him, and this time she had almost died from his venom. He remembered his childhood, how everyone treated him like a plague, and how any beast man who got close to him met with misfortune. Filled with helplessness and reluctance, he handed Lena over to Shane. It's better to let her go. She never liked me anyway. Shane turned and left with Lena. She looked back at Silas, wanting him to put her down so she could talk to him, but she couldn't make a sound. Kaiser saw the look on her face. Lena, you haven't recovered yet. Don't talk. He turned to Silas. I know you saved Lena last time, but this time you almost killed her. Now we're even. Their eyes met, and the air was thick with tension. Silas ultimately chose to let go, watching as Lena was taken away from him. In the end, he was alone again. As soon as she could talk, she immediately ran to find the big black snake Silas, but was stopped at the door by Kaiser. The big tiger picked her up and carried her back. Rest well, don't run around. Lena struggled, throwing small punches, and lied, I just went out to water the veggies. But Kaiser saw right through her. Seeing that she was still determined, Kaiser came up with a plan. Shane's leg was bitten by that big snake while he was saving you. Lena's heart sank with worry. Kaiser continued to add fuel to the fire. If Shane knew you wanted to go find that snake, he'd definitely throw a fit. Thinking of Shane's pitiful expression, Lena was filled with guilt. Then I'll just stay home and cook for him until he gets back. Kaiser patted her head. Good girl, now I can relax. Just then Shane walked in. Hearing that Lena wanted to go find Silas, his face immediately darkened, and he bared his fangs. When I'm healed, I'm going to kill that snake. Kaiser quietly told him, don't be rash. For now, you should use your injury to keep Lena from going down the mountain. Shane thought this was a good idea. Lena vaguely overheard their conversation, and Shane immediately shut up and acted innocent. Lena checked Shane's wound and saw that it was covered in scabs and dirt. She took out some medicine and carefully cleaned and bandaged it. Stay home and don't get the wound wet. If it gets infected, we'll have to amputate. Shane didn't know what amputate meant. Lena gestured with her hand. It means we'll have to cut off your arm. This scared Shane so much he fell on his butt. Then I'll listen to you. I won't go out. For the next few days, the couple was inseparable and Shane was overjoyed. But Lena was distracted. Shane saw through her. Are you thinking of going down the mountain to find that stinking snake? Lena's heart skipped a beat. I promised I'd go find him. I have to clear up the misunderstanding. Shane's jealousy flared up, afraid his little wife would fall for the snake. But Lena was determined and ran out in a huff. She sat alone by the river, holding the gem Silas had given her. I need to let him know I didn't mean to abandon him. Just as she was about to get up and find Silas, Kaiser appeared. Lena, what are you doing here alone? Lena felt a little guilty and couldn't come up with an excuse. Kaiser frowned and picked her up. Come on, I'll take you to see something cool. In no time they got there. Lena's eyes lit up. It was the bird feather vines they had planted, and they were bearing fruit. According to her guide, this fruit could be used as a substitute for flour. Lena asked Kaiser to cut one open. He swung his claw once and easily split it in half. Lena dug out the pulp and laid it out to dry. Then she drew a picture of a stone mill on the ground. Kaiser, can you find me a stone and grind it like this? Kaiser immediately went to get a stone. And after some grinding and shaping, he actually made a stone mill. Lena put the dried pulp into the mill to grind it. Just then, Shane jumped out fuming. Don't just let Kaiser do all the work, I can help too. Lena had him help grind the pulp. With everyone's help, they finally made flour in the beast world. Lena tasted it. This is it! With flour, I can have dumplings. She danced with joy and ran back to make them. Soon the delicious dumplings were ready, and the two beasts ate them with gusto. Lena couldn't help but cry. It really tastes like dumplings. I never thought I'd be able to eat them in the beast world. Kaiser, seeing this, smiled and said he would plant more bird feather vines in the future. Lena insisted on helping, but she felt a little guilty. Kaiser's eyes glinted. He could always see right through her. Shane also sensed something was wrong and immediately became wary. Are you planning to go see that big snake? Lena, seeing she'd been found out, could only laugh awkwardly. Shane was filled with jealousy. What's so great about that stinking snake? Is it because he has an extra bell? Lena's head was spinning. What kind of outrageous thing are you saying? The two beasts stared at her. Lena, do we have to… Before they could finish, she quickly cut them off. All right, that's enough. I promise I won't go see Silas again. With that, she picked up the pot and stormed off. Shane hesitated for a moment, wondering if they had gone too far. Kaiser's eyes flashed. Do you want Lena to go find that snake? Shane immediately panicked. Of course not. Then it settled. With that, Kaiser went to find Lena. Lena was washing dishes, her mind completely focused on finding Silas. She was so lost in thought that she didn't even notice Kaiser sneak up behind her. He suddenly wrapped his arms around her slender waist and lifted her up. Lena, I can give you anything you want, but I don't want to share you with any other males. As he spoke, he started to unbutton her clothes. Lena's heart skipped a beat. Wait, Kaiser, let me use some of the medicine. Kaiser looked confused. What medicine? Lena took out a small vial. I'm not ready to have babies yet. This potion will prevent it. Kaiser snatched the vial from her hand and poured some on his own. I'll put it on for you. Lena's jaw dropped. Why are you all like this? Before she could finish, Kaiser had pinned her against the stone wall. She shut her eyes tight, her face turning as red as a ripe apple. And then things got steamy. When Lena woke up, it was already the next afternoon. Half a month later, it seemed Silas had left, and Kaiser and Shane finally agreed to take Lena to the vegetable garden. The sweet cabbage needed a lot of water, and Lena, worried that Shane would get tired carrying water, came up with the idea of digging an irrigation ditch. Shane was completely baffled. What's an irrigation ditch? It's like a channel we dig to bring water from the river to the garden. Shane was hesitant, worried the plan wouldn't work. But Kaiser thought it was a great idea. Lena always has these amazing ideas, and they always work out. Shane huffed. I also believe Lena's idea will work. The irrigation ditch project started immediately. Shane led a group of beastmen to dig the channel. Lena was about to make them some hose, but realized their claws were much more effective. Shane, seeing her, immediately trotted over. Looking at the adorable wolf form Shane, Lena couldn't help but shower his face with kisses. After she'd had her fill, she waved goodbye. Come back early. We'll wait for you for dinner. The single wolves on the side were green with envy. Chief Shane, you're going too far. On her way back, Lena noticed a lot of fruit on the ground. She picked one up, and suddenly a dark, shiny object descended from above her. It was a snake's tail. It turned out Silas had never left. He had been secretly watching over her all along. 3 days later, the first irrigation ditch was completed, and the fruit trees were ripe. Kaiser, in his tiger form, leaped into a tree and gave it a good shake, and fruit rained down. Although the harvest was plentiful, Lena was worried, because they had far more food than the wolf tribe could eat. Kaiser suggested they could sell some of it, or trade it at the market. Lena was instantly excited. That was a great idea. On the first market day of spring, beastmen from all the tribes came to trade. Lena looked tiny among the crowd. Kaiser picked her up. Don't wander off, or you might get eaten by a wild beast. Meanwhile, Shane had already found a spot for their stall. They laid out their fruits and vegetables ready to sell. Lena couldn't stop smiling. There are so many beastmen here today. We'll definitely sell out. Trade for some crystals, complete my quest, and reach the pinnacle of my life. But after half an hour, their stall was deserted. Not even a fly had come by. Watching the bustling stalls next to them, Lena couldn't sit still. She started shouting at the top of her lungs, "Come one, come all, delicious sweet cabbage and fruit! Makes males strong and females beautiful." Kaiser and Shane were mortified. Lena really knows how to exaggerate. But the beastman looked on with disdain. That's probably a lie. It doesn't even smell like meat. Shane grabbed the beastman who had spoken. How dare you say Lena's food is bad? You're asking for it. Just then, a curious female took a bite and found it was quite good. This attracted another female. Her mate wanted to trade dried meat and hides. But Lena only wanted medicinal herbs and crystals. The beastmen were confused. They had no idea what kind of herb she was describing. Only a small bunny's eyes lit up. I know that plant. He ran home to get it. Soon he was back with the herb. Exactly what Lena wanted. The little bunny happily traded for a large cabbage and went home. Lena had gotten the herbs she wanted and was hoping to trade for some crystals. But by the time all the fruits and vegetables were sold, she hadn't received a single one. To complete her system quest and get enough crystals, Lena decided to go to the Wild Horse tribe to trade vegetables with them. The Wild Horse tribe's shaman's eyes darted around when he saw her. Shane immediately stood in front of her to block his view. The shaman finally looked away. Shane, what brings you here? Shane held up the vegetables. My female wants to trade these for crystals. The shaman's jaw nearly dropped. You've actually changed and found a female? I thought you'd be single forever. Shane was so angry he wanted to punch the horse in the face. But then he smiled slyly and retorted, You old bachelor, you'll probably never know what love feels like. The old shaman felt like he'd been hit by a ton of bricks. I'm only 58. I'm still in my prime. But even he felt embarrassed saying it. Lena was speechless. What a pair of children. The shaman, furious, refused to trade with Shane. Lena, seeing this, took a sweet cabbage from her basket. Try this before you decide. The shaman skeptically broke off a piece and tasted it. His eyes lit up. It was actually quite good. He looked Lena up and down. The Stonefang wolf tribe had never had this kind of food before. This female is no simpleton. The shaman took out 2 crystals. This should be enough for your vegetables and fruit. Lena took the crystals. They were colorless, but it was better than nothing. Just then, the chief of the Wild Horse tribe walked in. When he learned that Lena was Shane's mate, he was stunned, filled with envy and jealousy. Such a beautiful and cute mate, and I, a chief just like him, am still single, the shaman whispered in the chief's ear, and he finally understood the purpose of their visit. At first, the chief was dismissive, but when he saw Kaiser, a 3-star soul beast, his expression changed. To avoid trouble, he decided to trade with them using colored crystals. Lena had finally collected all the crystals. Suddenly, a whoosh sound came from the system. Congratulations, host, for completing the 5-colored crystal collection quest. You will receive a special reward. The system rewarded her with a compass and a book, The Complete Illustrated Guide to Minerals. The system's notification sounded again. The compass can help you find mineral veins. Lena's eyes lit up, as if she had struck gold. Am I going to become rich in this beast world and reach the pinnacle of my life? But when she thought about her current inability to smelt metal, she wanted to cry. Even if I'm sitting on a gold mine, it's useless. The system, as if reading her mind, smiled. Host has completed the beginner's quests. The system will now upgrade and enter a dormant state. New functions will be available after the upgrade. Lena was stunned. That sounds amazing. The system wishes you a successful upgrade. I'll be working hard too. The system's eyes slowly closed. Well, I wish you a happy family soon. Lena was speechless. That won't be necessary. With that, the system vanished, and Lena returned to the real world. Lena, we should go back. Kaiser crouched down and transformed into his tiger form. Lena, get on! They then started their journey back to the wolf tribe. If it had been 2 months ago, Lena would have died before she dared to ride a tiger. But now she was thrilled. She thought about her cross-species union with the beastmen and the possibility of having little tiger or wolf cubs in the future. It was hard to imagine, but she thought her own children would surely be cute. As she was thinking, a large bird suddenly flew over her head. Shane, seeing it, howled in anger. "You stupid bird, how dare you scare my Lena!" He then chased after the bird, cursing. Lena couldn't help but laugh. In this beast world, she would never be alone again. Meanwhile, a group of bird beastmen circled above the wolf tribe. Seeing the vegetables Lena had planted and the fruit on the trees, they got some bad ideas and plotted to steal them. That night, while everyone was asleep, the bird beastmen snuck in to steal the fruit. They took a bite and threw it away, wasting the food. A blue-feathered bird saw a juicy cabbage and pounced on it like a starving ghost. But before it could touch it, a large black snake suddenly appeared and bit off its leg. The big tiger was cuddling with the girl, and the little wolf happened to see them. He immediately rushed over to Lena, looking pitiful. "Why do you only let Kaiser hug you? I want a hug too." With that, he puckered his lips to kiss her. Kaiser quickly pulled Lena back into his arms. But Shane wasn't giving up. He grinned mischievously and, seizing the opportunity, planted a big kiss on her lips. Not to be outdone, Kaiser also showered her with kisses. Lena was so embarrassed and annoyed that she kicked both of them out of the room. Meanwhile, the beastman's vegetables had been ransacked. When Lena returned and saw the mess, her heart sank, worried that her own garden had met the same fate. But when she looked, she saw that her vegetables were unharmed. It was all thanks to Silas, who had been secretly guarding her garden. Kaiser found a feather in the garden. A wolf beastman pointed to a mountain. A group of bird people came to Skyrock Mountain a few days after you left. Shane, hearing this, clenched his fists, about to lead his men to confront the bird beastmen, when they flew down from the mountaintop. They were aggressive from the start, demanding, "Where is the snake beast that hurt our cub? Hand him over." Lena's heart skipped a beat. What snake beast? Could it be Silas? He didn't leave? The bird beastman shouted, "Hand over the snake beast or you'll regret it." Shane's face darkened. What does this have to do with our wolf tribe? Look at how these fields have been destroyed. It was clearly you bird people who did this. The bird beastman snorted. "For a few pathetic vegetable patches, you dare to hurt a cub of the feathered tribe? You're also harboring a snake beast. We'll make you pay." Lena couldn't take it anymore, and unleashed a torrent of abuse at them. The bird beastmen were so angry their faces turned green. They stomped on the fruit Lena had planted, and sneered, "You're asking for it." At that critical moment, Silas shot out from a tree, baring his fangs and roaring, "If you want revenge, come at me. It has nothing to do with anyone else." The bird people, seeing him, all transformed into their beast forms, and charged at Silas. Lena was frantic and wanted to rush in to help, but was stopped by Kaiser. "Don't go, it's too dangerous." "Silas is strong, but they're bird people. They can fly and are fast. Silas is at a disadvantage." And sure enough, Silas was soon losing, his body getting scratched by the bird beastmen. Lena wanted to ask Kaiser and Shane to help, but they didn't want to get involved. She had no choice but to run toward Silas on her own. As soon as she got under the tree, she was spotted by the bird beastmen. "Get that female!" Silas, seeing Lena in danger, quickly whipped his tail around her and pulled her to his side. "What are you doing here? It's dangerous." Just then, a bird beastman charged at them. Silas dodged, protecting Lena, but the bird's claws still scratched his back. "Stop!" Just then, Kaiser and Shane finally stepped in. "Get out of the way! This is between our feathered tribe and the snake beast. Mind your own business." Shane gritted his teeth. "You'd better be more respectful or I might just pluck all your feathers." The wolf tribe's beastmen also stood up. "Anyone who touches our chief will kill them." The bird beastmen, seeing that the situation was not in their favor, spread their wings and temporarily retreated. "You just wait, this isn't over." Shane cursed at the departing birds and planned to go and meet with their chief. At that moment, Lena was bandaging Silas's wounds. Kaiser, seeing this, clenched his fists in anger. "Lena, do you remember what you promised?" Lena looked at the badly injured Silas, her heart filled with guilt. "I remember, but he's so hurt now. I have to take him back to recover." Kaiser's brow furrowed into a deep frown, and he turned and walked away. Lena watched him go, her heart aching. In his eyes, I'm probably a terrible female, but she couldn't bear to leave Silas behind. As she bandaged his wounds, tears streamed down her face, and her hands trembled. Silas looked at her with concern. "I'm fine. You should go back with them. Don't worry about me." Lena sniffled. "It's not your fault. I'm the one who didn't handle things well." She took his hand. "Come back with me. I'll take good care of you until you've healed, as compensation for breaking my promise." Silas, hearing this, was not happy. "I don't want your compensation. I only want you." When they returned to the cave, they were blocked by Shane. A bird beastman threatened to take the girl and have cubs with her. Because Silas had killed a cub of the feathered tribe, their chief led his people to the wolf tribe in a rage, causing a commotion. At that tense moment, Lena rushed over with Kaiser. The bird beastmen were arrogant, demanding that the wolf tribe give them an explanation. Kaiser was furious and was about to fight them, but was stopped by Lena. Don't be rash, I'll talk to them. With that, Lena calmly stepped forward. I am the shaman of the wolf tribe. If you have something to say it. But the bird beastmen didn't believe she was a shaman. Just then, the wolf tribe's beastmen all stood up for her. Lena knows a lot. She is undoubtedly our wolf tribe's shaman. Hearing this, the bird beastmen were so surprised they transformed back into their beast forms and huddled together, whispering. Lena was confused, having no idea what they were saying. As they were hesitating, a large bird descended from the sky. This bird was incredibly unique, with fiery red wings, golden hair, and covered in countless sparkling jewels. Lena was stunned and subconsciously caught a red feather that floated down. The bird beastmen, seeing this, all exclaimed, Elder Zhuling! Lena looked up and was immediately captivated by the jewels covering Zhuling, her eyes shining with a desire for wealth. She completely ignored his stunningly handsome appearance. She couldn't help but exclaim, so extravagant, it's inhumane. The wealth gap in this beast world is too big. Zhuling raised an eyebrow and said playfully, Hey, have you had your fill of looking? Let's just settle whatever dispute we have once and for all. Lena finally snapped out of it, quickly looked away, and said seriously, Silas did act rashly, but your cub was not entirely blameless. Zhuling sneered, We lost a cub. You give us a cub in return, and we'll call it even. Lena thought this was the most ridiculous request she had ever heard. How am I supposed to do that? The bird beastmen, seeing her at a loss, all cheered. Zhuling's lips curved into a smile. He flashed in front of her. You have a cub with me, and you'll have paid back the feathered tribe's cub, right? Lena's eyes widened, and she finally noticed his stunningly beautiful face. The bird beastmen were so shocked by his words they nearly wet themselves. Elder Zhuling, what are you saying? Zhuling ignored their surprised gazes and just looked at Lena with anticipation. So, do you agree? Lena was so angry she could have spit fire. In your dreams! The angrier she got, the more excited Zhuling seemed to be. You were just staring at me with such a hot gaze. You're clearly infatuated with me, so why are you rejecting me? Lena was speechless and finally exploded. Narcissist! Who's infatuated with you? I was looking at the crystals! Zhuling shrugged, looking amused. What a dishonest little female. Lena said she had no interest in him, but offered to introduce him to other females in the wolf tribe. But he was determined to pursue her. I don't want anyone else, I only want you. Lena's head was buzzing, and the scene fell silent. The bird beastman couldn't help but exclaim, Elder Zhuling, that confession was so cool. Lena gritted her teeth. Damn it, beastmen have no concept of decency. In the modern world, this guy would be a pervert who'd be thrown in jail. Seeing the usually cold and aloof Zhuling openly professing his love, the bird beastmen were in disbelief. Did the sun rise in the west today? Lena couldn't take it anymore and wanted to punch the narcissist in the face, but was stopped by Kaiser. Elder Zhuling, please stop teasing Lena. She doesn't like these kinds of jokes. Lena is a beautiful name, I like it, Zhuling said, licking his lips. Lena was so angry she could have shattered her teeth. Beautiful my foot, you old pervert! A cold glint flashed in Kaiser's eyes. Are you serious about pursuing Lena? Of course. I've never seen such a fresh and delicious little female before. Hearing this, Kaiser's eyes filled with killing intent. Then let's duel. You'll only have the right to stay by Lena's side if you can beat me. Lena, worried that Kaiser would get hurt, quickly tried to stop him. Don't fight! I'm worried you'll get hurt! Kaiser gently ruffled her hair. I have to fight him. It's the way of the beastmen. Don't worry, I'll be fine. With that, he let go of her cheek and walked resolutely toward Zhuling. Lena rushed forward and grabbed his hand, her eyes welling up with tears. Seeing the couple's long, drawn-out goodbye, Zhuling rolled his eyes in annoyance. Public displays of affection lead to a quick demise. Let's see how I take care of you. Kaiser shot him a disdainful look. We'll see who falls first. With that, he instantly transformed into his tiger form and charged at Zhuling like an arrow. Zhuling reacted quickly, his figure vanishing and causing Kaiser to miss. The next moment, he reappeared behind Kaiser, conjuring a ball of fire in his hand. At that critical moment, Lena screamed, He's behind you! But by the time Kaiser reacted, the fire had already hit him like a roaring dragon, piercing through his body. With a loud bang, he was sent flying. Lena rushed forward, shouting, Zhuling, stop! Zhuling slowly retracted the flames. Survival of the fittest is the law of nature. If your mates can't protect you, you should dump them and find a stronger one. Lena stood her ground, firmly protecting Kaiser. Kaiser isn't weak, he's very strong. Hearing his wife's words of trust and encouragement, Kaiser was instantly filled with a new strength and stood up. Lena suddenly felt a burning sensation on her back and looked down to see that Kaiser's star crest had appeared on her waist. At that moment, Kaiser's body was crackling with fire and lightning, his presence overwhelming. Zhuling, seeing this, was unfazed. Hey, this white tiger is upgrading. Kaiser, with renewed vigor, attacked again. Zhuling dodged and Kaiser missed again, the force of his blow creating a large crater in the ground. Zhuling was shocked. Kaiser's strength continued to grow, and he pressed his attack. Zhuling could only dodge. He knew that if this continued, he would lose. In a desperate move, he broke the rules of the duel and used his wings to create an even more intense fire. Kaiser, not to be outdone, retaliated with a blast of electricity. The powerful energies collided, shaking the ground and sending rocks flying. After a while, the two finally stopped fighting. I lose, I use my wings. The bird beastmen were in disbelief. They never thought the mighty elder Zhuling could lose. Zhuling looked at Lena. You were right, your mate is indeed strong, I underestimated him. With that, he took to the air and left. Seeing Zhuling leave, the other bird beastmen also dispersed and returned to their tribe. The wolf beastmen all cheered. Sing, we won! Watching the departing birds, Kaiser finally relaxed. But his body, weakened from the fight, suddenly gave out and he collapsed. Lena quickly ordered the other beastmen. Get Kaiser back and treat his wounds. Seeing him so badly injured, she was frantic. She quickly cleaned his wounds, desperately calling for him to wake up, tears streaming down her face. Don't leave me, I'm scared. Her tears fell onto his face, and then onto his wounds. In that instant, the beast mark on his waist emitted a soft golden light, which mingled with her tears, enveloping them both in a warm glow. Miraculously, his wounds began to heal, and soon they had completely vanished. Lena couldn't believe her eyes. The burns that had covered nearly half his body were gone. Kaiser slowly regained consciousness. Lena immediately threw herself into his arms, crying and nuzzling his strong chest. You're finally awake. Kaiser gently wiped away her tears. Just as they were about to get frisky, someone burst in. Shane was stunned to see Kaiser completely unharmed. I heard you were seriously injured. How do you not even have a scratch? And you've upgraded to a 4-star soul beast? Kaiser was just as confused. He remembered being badly hurt, but when he woke up, all his injuries were gone. Silas guessed it might have been a healing spell. Everyone looked at him, puzzled. A healing spell uses the life force of plants to heal a beastman's wounds. Shane turned to Lena. You were with Kaiser the whole time. Do you know what happened? Lena hesitated. She couldn't very well say that his wounds had miraculously healed while she was crying and bandaging them. No one would believe that, so she said she didn't know. Kaiser asked, was there anything special when the wound was healing? Lena thought for a moment. I think I smelled the scent of plants. Shane and Kaiser exchanged a look, suspecting Lena had something to do with it. Kaiser raised his claws and made a cut on his own arm. Lena, seeing the gruesome wound, burst into tears, which fell onto the cut. A miraculous scene unfolded, the wound began to heal. Shane was shocked and Lena was stunned. Kaiser moved closer and gently licked away her tears. In an instant, the wound on his hand completely disappeared. Shane couldn't help but exclaim, Lena, you're amazing. Lena herself couldn't believe she had such a magical ability. Kaiser pulled her into his arms and whispered, Lena, don't cry so easily from now on, and don't let anyone know you have this healing ability. Lena sniffled. I'll remember. Kaiser suspected that not only her tears, but also other parts of her body, like her saliva or even her flesh and blood, might have this ability. Hearing this, Shane's expression grew serious. If people find out that Lena's flesh and blood can heal wounds, she'll be eaten alive. After Kaiser had healed, Lena finally remembered to ask Silas why he had hurt the feathered tribe's cub. Silas smiled faintly. Those bird beastmen were maliciously destroying your orchard and vegetable garden. I couldn't just stand by and watch. Learning that Silas had been protecting her garden, Lena was filled with gratitude and went to prepare some food for him. Meanwhile, Kaiser sat alone by the river, feeling dejected. Just then, Shane walked over. The sun is about to set. Aren't you going home? Kaiser didn't say a word, completely ignoring him. Shane was speechless. Come on, what's the big deal? That snake is living with us now, whether you like it or not. Kaiser fiddled with the ring on his hand. Lena seems to care a lot about that snake. Sharing her with you is already the limit of what I can handle. Shane plopped down on the ground in a huff. We got rid of a snake today, but tomorrow it could be a hawk, a lion, or a leopard. Can you stop them all? Kaiser fell silent again. Shane, bored, got up and left. When Kaiser got home, he saw Lena cutting meat and quickly went to her. Let me do that. Lena's body trembled slightly and she bit her lip. Lena, what's wrong? Kaiser said, placing his hands on her shoulders. She turned, her face stained with tears, and threw herself into his arms. I thought you weren't coming back. Kaiser smiled gently and wiped her tears away. Didn't we agree you shouldn't cry so easily? I was being selfish before. Seeing how much you cared about Silas, I went to the vegetable garden to cool off. Lena held his hand tightly, her voice choked with emotion. Once Silas is better, I'll have him leave. He saved you before. Let him stay a little longer. Lena wiped her tears away and hugged the understanding big tiger. Just then, Silas walked in. Kaiser's eyes narrowed, and he and Silas locked gazes. That night, Lena made a lavish dinner. The four of them sat around the table, the atmosphere heavy. Kaiser was the first to break the silence, piling meat onto Lena's plate. Silas watched with envy. If only I had met Lena sooner and become her mate. As he was thinking, Lena handed him a skewer of meat. It's really good, heh. Silas took a bite and praised it, saying it was the most delicious meat he had ever eaten. Kaiser grinned mischievously. Lena gave you the fatty meat she doesn't like. Lena guiltily looked away and quickly changed the subject, handing Silas a leaf of cabbage. Eating too much meat can be heavy. Have some vegetables. To Silas, anything Lena made, even if it were mud, would taste delicious. The next morning, Silas found that his injuries had completely healed. He couldn't bear to leave Lena, and was about to scratch himself, to create a new injury when Shane appeared. Hey, if you're healed, stop lazing around and get to work in the fields. Silas, hearing that he wasn't being kicked out but was being put to work, was overjoyed. He went to the vegetable garden and showed off his special skill, spraying water from his mouth and watering the entire garden in minutes. Shane couldn't help but admire him. Awesome! The task that would have taken half a day was done in a few minutes. Everyone was amazed at how incredible the big snake was. They invited him to go hunting with them. Silas was surprised. He had never met beastmen who were so friendly to him. Just then, Lena's voice came from behind. Go on, Silas, just be sure to come back early. Silas nodded eagerly. Lena smiled at me. I have to take this chance to stay by her side. A bird wanted to snatch Lena away to be his wife, but after being driven off by the tiger Kaiser, the feathered tribe's chief came to their door, aggressively demanding that the wolf tribe hand over the big black snake Silas. Shane flatly refused. The bird beastman had no choice but to leave. From then on, Silas gradually became a part of the family. Lena stared at the three handsome beastmen, her heart fluttering. They're so handsome, even when they're working. Soon they had finished harvesting the crops. Lena fiddled with the ring on her hand and stored all the food in her storage space. In the blink of an eye, all the food on the ground had vanished. Silas on the side was amazed. Lena explained, This ring has a storage space. I put all the fruits and vegetables inside. Silas thought to himself that Lena was definitely no ordinary person. The next day was market day, and Lena's family was out again. They set up their stall, and as soon as they had laid out their fruits and vegetables, the little bunnies all rushed over to buy them, trading herbs for fruit. Just then, the chief of the wild horse tribe came over and arrogantly bought all their vegetables and fruit, also bringing some surprising news. Yesterday, a few people from the Dark Moon Temple came to the Black River tribe. They said they were looking for a snake beast named Silas. Lena and the others froze, all looking at Silas. The wild horse beastman looked at them, confused. Hey, why aren't you guys saying anything? Kaiser cleared his throat. Why were they looking for this Silas? The wild horse beastman shook his head, saying he didn't know, and warned them to stay away from any snake beasts they saw. The three of them nodded in unison. We know. The snake on the side was speechless. After the wild horse beastman had left, Shane asked Silas, How did you get involved with the people from the Dark Moon Temple? I stole the temple's sacred object and killed the high priest. Kaiser and Shane's jaws nearly dropped. They knew that what Silas had done was a capital offense. Silas, not wanting to implicate them, decided to leave. Lena, hearing this, lost control. We're a family. No one is leaving. You're a family with Kaiser and Shane, not with me. There's nothing between us. Lena was even more agitated. Kaiser quickly calmed her down. Let's figure out a solution before the divine envoys find us. But Silas was resolute. Seeing that Kaiser and Shane were taking good care of Lena, he felt at ease. That night, in the middle of a storm, he resolutely left the wolf tribe. The next day, everyone realized Silas was gone. Lena was frantic and wanted to go look for him, but was stopped by Shane. You're too delicate to be running around. But Lena was so worried about Silas's safety that Shane had to promise he would find him. Kaiser also said he would go with Shane. A family sticks together. Hearing this, Lena was filled with relief. Kaiser, he's finally accepting Silas as part of the family. Kaiser pecked her on the cheek. Shane, seeing this, did the same, showering her face with kisses. Then, Shane, Kaiser, and a group of beastmen set out to find Silas. Meanwhile, Silas hadn't gone far when he was caught by the divine envoys. They instantly transformed into menacing giant snakes. Silas's eyes narrowed. This is too close to the wolf tribe. I have to lead them away. He quickly slithered into the river, with the other snakes in hot pursuit. They soon cornered him. Outnumbered, Silas couldn't break free. A large snake bit down hard on his body. Damn, these snakes' fangs are all venomous. Silas fought to escape, but the venom was too strong, and his vision began to blur. At that critical moment, Kaiser pounced, biting down on the large green snake, and they started to fight. The wolf beastmen also rushed in to help, surrounding the other snakes. Kaiser finally managed to pull Silas out. By then, Silas was covered in wounds and losing consciousness. Just as Kaiser was about to take him back for treatment, the snakes caught up with them. Leave him! Kaiser immediately called for Shane. Shane let out a heaven-shaking howl, and in an instant, a blizzard descended, freezing the snakes into ice sculptures. But in a moment, they broke free. Shane gave Kaiser a look, and he understood. They split up, luring the snakes to a swamp. Shane jumped in first and froze the surface. The snakes, unaware of the trap, all charged at them. Seeing that they had taken the bait, Shane stomped on the ice, and the snakes all fell into the swamp, slowly sinking. Kaiser hoisted Silas onto his back and ordered, "Let's go home." He had been seriously poisoned, and ordinary antidotes were useless. As a last resort, Lena decided to sacrifice herself. She took a dagger, made a cut on her hand, and used her own blood as an antidote. Kaiser took the bowl from her. "I'll feed him." Shane helped prop Silas up. Kaiser fed him Lena's blood. In an instant, the wounds on his body began to heal. He shot his eyes open and spit out the poisoned blood. Waking up to find Lena and the others around him, Silas was confused. "How did I get here? I left the tribe secretly. You were seriously poisoned. We rescued you. Lena used her own blood to cure you." Hearing this, Silas's heart ached, and he bit his lip. "Why did you save me?" "Because we're a family." "But I'm not your mate. We have no relationship." These words infuriated Shane, and Lena's heart sank. Silas, looking at the hand Lena had injured to save him, was even more determined to leave. He was afraid of causing them more trouble, but Lena didn't care about that. And Kaiser also wanted him to stay. Silas lost control. "It's different. You are Lena's family, and I'm not." His voice choked with emotion. "Let me go." With that, he resolutely turned and left. Watching him go, Lena was filled with mixed emotions. Kaiser muttered, "If he leaves like this, he'll die." Lena gritted her teeth, steeled herself, and ran after him, calling his name. As soon as he turned, she grabbed his collar and kissed him. The kiss lasted for 2.5 minutes. Silas was completely baffled. "I kissed you. From now on, you're my man. You still have the nerve to say we have no relationship?" Silas's cold face flushed. Lena instinctively took a small step back. Shane on the side was not happy. If a kiss is all it takes to become family, Lena didn't have to do it. "I could have." Everyone was speechless. Kaiser and Shane's acceptance of Silas felt like a dream to Lena. A beautiful dream she couldn't believe was real. "Lena, will you treat me the same way you treat Kaiser and Shane?" She was stunned for a few seconds, then her face turned as red as a ripe apple. We'll talk about that when you're better." Silas was full of hope, saying he would recover quickly. Shane huffed. "Humph, you cunning snake." Lena gave Kaiser a look, and he nodded. Then she took out a contract ring and placed it on Silas's hand. From then on, he was no longer alone. He finally had a home and a mate who loved him deeply. Kaiser and Shane went to get meat and vegetables to celebrate. Lena wanted to help, but was stopped by Silas. "I didn't steal the sacred object, and I didn't kill the high priest." Lena turned to look at him, puzzled. Silas sobbed. "I was framed, but no one would believe me." "Lena, do you believe me?" Lena could see his sincerity. Her response was simple and direct. She lifted his chin and kissed him again, her gaze firm. "I believe you." Silas's eyes welled up, and he hugged her tightly. Lena felt a warm liquid on her. She knew it was his tears. "I'm going to give Silas so much happiness that he forgets his painful past." 3 days later, Silas had completely recovered, but Lena had fallen ill from blood loss. Suddenly, ding! The system notification sounded. "System 438 upgrade successful. The Crystal Mall is now open." Lena shot up. "Hey, you're finally back!" The system was speechless. "What kind of nickname is 8? "It's your nickname. Should I call you 438 instead?" The system was at a loss for words. "You can just call me 8. Lena then asked, 8. "What's this mall you're talking about?" The system shrugged, and 2 plants appeared on the screen. "Host can exchange crystals for items in the mall." Lena never thought she'd see sunflowers and long beans in this world. She pressed the exchange button and traded 10 crystals for sunflower and long bean seeds. She had her three mates plant the seeds in the field. Watching her harmonious family, she was filled with relief. But she didn't know when the seeds would bear fruit. The family is now living happily ever after. Today is market day again, and Lena and her family are selling their fruits and vegetables as usual. As soon as they had set up, a crowd of beastmen swarmed over. The sudden rush startled Lena. The beastmen were all scrambling to buy, and the smaller bunnies were getting squished. Lena panicked, not knowing what to do. At that critical moment, Kaiser stepped forward and roared, "Everyone, calm down!" The roar was like a clap of thunder, and the crowd instantly fell silent. The beastmen were too scared to even breathe. "If anyone cuts in line or causes trouble, I won't mind adding an extra meat dish to my dinner tonight." Kaiser's powerful presence made everyone tremble, and they obediently formed a line. The little bunnies who had been pushed aside were now the first to buy. As everyone was lining up, purple-haired beast man openly cut in, acting incredibly arrogant. Silas, seeing this, immediately whipped his tail and sent the purple-haired beastman to the next life. After that, everyone was on their best behavior. Seeing that the fruits and vegetables were about to sell out, Lena fiddled with her ring, opened her storage space, and brought out more to sell. As soon as the new stock was out, the crowd swarmed again. Silas flicked his tongue. "If anyone dares to cut in line, I'll swallow them whole." After half a day, all the fruits and vegetables were sold. Kaiser started counting the herbs and crystals they had received in trade. Lena was sweating from all the work, so she hired some people to help, paying them accordingly. Just from this, Kaiser got the idea to acquire land. Lena was secretly amazed. If Kaiser had been born in the modern world, he would have been a super successful and cunning businessman. The land acquisition went smoothly, and Lena distributed the seeds to everyone. As time went on, the seedlings in the fields grew strong and healthy. But then something unexpected happened. The workers' faces all swelled up like pigs' heads. Lena thought they had been bullied by other beastmen, but it turned out to be the plants in the garden. They had been hit by seeds spat out by the sunflowers, and had their behinds blown up by the exploding long beans. Lena's jaw dropped. Suspecting there was a problem with the seeds from the mall, she immediately went to check. But when she got there, the plants looked normal, except that the sunflowers were over 6 feet tall and she couldn't reach them. Kaiser, seeing this, offered to help. But as soon as his hand got close to a sunflower, it spit out seeds. Kaiser quickly turned to shield Lena. Only when they moved away did the sunflower stop attacking. Kaiser then decided to test the long beans. He picked up a rock and threw it at them. With a loud bang, the rock was sent flying. So that's how the workers had gotten hurt. Lena felt she had to do something for them. She went to a cave and called out to the system. "The seeds you had me exchange are hurting people. What's going on?" The system responded, "If you're gentle with them, they will offer you their fruit." Lena was skeptical and wondered what gentle meant. She put on a sweet smile and said in a soft voice, "Is this gentle?" Shane on the side couldn't help but twitch his lips. Silas decided to try it himself. He transformed into his giant snake form and watered the sunflowers. The sunflowers swayed slightly, and everyone hid, afraid of getting hit by seeds. But surprisingly, the sunflowers didn't attack Silas, and even offered him their seeds. Everyone was stunned. It actually worked? Lena's heart was in her throat. She never thought they would actually have to be so nice to the plants. She tried gently stroking a sunflower, and it bent down to nuzzle her. These mutant plants were incredibly strange. They seemed to have their own personalities just like people. After collecting enough sunflower seeds, Silas decided to try the long beans. He just gently touched them, and the beans fell off on their own. It turned out that as long as you approached them with kindness, the plants were very friendly. Lena had an idea: to use these mutant plants to defend against enemies. The sunflowers could act like machine guns, and the firecracker like long beans would be a great early warning system. So she summoned the system and exchanged all her crystals for seeds. She was now broke, but encouraged herself. To get more crystals, I have to keep working hard. Under her direction, the sunflowers and long beans were planted around the tribe. She also used her modern knowledge to teach people how to make traps. Everyone was amazed. There's a way to do that? Kaiser decided to try it out the next day. The next day, Shane led everyone to set the traps, and Kaiser was in charge of luring the prey. When the prey was close to the trap, he leaped up and grabbed a tree branch, and the prey fell into the trap. Shane ordered everyone to dig more traps so that any enemy approaching the tribe would fall in. Kaiser suggested adding sharp wooden stakes to the pits for better effect. Shane's lips twitched. That's a bit dark. Silas also offered to coat the stakes with his venom for an even better effect. Everyone grinned. Anyone who fell in would be either dead or disabled. Lena placed markers around the traps to prevent their own people from accidentally falling in. Just then the bird, Suling, appeared in the sky, silently watching Lena. He thought to himself, should I give her a big gift? That night, while everyone was exhausted and asleep, Silas's eyes suddenly shot open. He smelled the scent of his own kind and immediately went to investigate. He followed the scent and saw a large group of snake beastmen ahead. The leader was the wolf tribe's old enemy. Silas knew this was bad and quickly turned back to warn the tribe. The enemy also sensed his presence and immediately ordered his men to give chase. Silas couldn't shake them. In his desperation, he saw the traps they had set. As the snakes were about to catch up, he skillfully dodged the traps. The snakes, unable to stop in time, all fell in. Silas took the opportunity to slip into the jungle. The remaining snakes, not wanting to give up, continued their pursuit and chased him to the vegetable garden. Just as they were about to enter the garden, the sunflowers started shooting seeds like machine guns, sending the snakes running in pain. The seeds were incredibly powerful and sent the snakes fleeing. The leader, seeing this, gritted his teeth in anger and decided to burn down the wolf tribe's village. Silas rushed back to the tribe and told Shane the news. Shane immediately gathered everyone to prepare for battle. Everyone was confused when they saw the snakes cutting down trees. Kaiser analyzed the situation. They're planning to set the mountain on fire. Faced with such a cunning enemy, Kaiser and Shane's expressions grew grim. Kaiser made a quick decision and went to get reinforcements. He climbed up a cliff to find the feathered tribe. Juling asked, "What are you doing here?" "Someone is trying to set the mountain on fire. You can either leave now or fight with us." Schilling's heart skipped a beat. Who is down there? A divine envoy from the Dark Moon Temple and his guards. Hearing this, Schilling seized the opportunity. "If you want our help, you have to show some sincerity." Kaiser frowned. "What do you want?" "I want that little female of yours." Kaiser's face instantly darkened, and he flatly refused and turned to leave. The feathered tribe's chief was stunned. "Juling, what nonsense are you spouting?" Juling sneered. "Are we going to fight, or are we going to run away like last time?" But the chief was a coward and didn't dare to fight. Juling sighed. The once mighty feathered tribe had been reduced to hiding and watching from the sidelines. It was pathetic. At the foot of the mountain, the snakes had already invaded the village, and a fierce battle broke out. Silas and Shane were at the forefront of the attack. Shane used his abilities to freeze the enemies, and Silas used his tail to crush them. Kaiser, seeing the vegetable garden being destroyed, was enraged. He charged like a furious tiger, and the enemies scattered in fear. On the mountaintop, Zuling tried to persuade the chief. "We've already lost our home because of fear. Are we now going to lose the last of our dignity as the feathered tribe because of fear?" The chief gritted his teeth, his fists clenched. He thought of his late father. If my father could see me now, he would be so disappointed. Seeing that the snakes were about to set the mountain on fire, Zuling could no longer stand it. He glanced at the chief. "This is our last chance." With that, he spread his wings and dove toward the snakes at the foot of the mountain. With a flap of his wings, he unleashed a torrent of fire, and the snakes screamed in agony. Zuling, engulfed in flames, infuriated the leader of the snakes. The feathered tribe's chief finally mustered his courage and ordered his people to prepare for battle. "The people from the Dark Moon Temple are at the foot of the mountain. It's time for revenge." With that, he transformed into his beast form. "All males on my command, defend our home and kill our enemies." The bird beastmen all roared, "Defend our home and kill our enemies." They all dove down, grabbing the snakes with their sharp claws and slamming them to the ground. With a series of thuds, the snakes were flattened. Kaiser, seeing the feathered tribe join the fight, let out a heaven-shaking roar, and the wolf beastmen's morale soared. The snakes suffered heavy casualties, and their leader, seeing that the situation was not in their favor, had no choice but to order a retreat into the forest. But Kaiser and the others were not about to let him go. Silas, seeing this, immediately transformed into his giant snake form and chased after him. He opened his mouth wide to swallow him whole, but missed. The cunning leader transformed into a baboon and brandished a sharp dagger. They both attacked at the same time. Silas was careless and was stabbed in the head. A loud bang echoed in his head as if something had shattered. And in that instant, a mysterious power surged through him, awakening his bloodline and transforming him into a giant beast. The enemy was so scared his teeth chattered, and he scrambled to hide in the bushes. Silas's eyes were like searchlights. He immediately spotted his target and lunged at the baboon. The baboon couldn't dodge in time and was hit hard by his tail, spitting out blood and falling into the river. The other snakes, seeing their leader defeated, turned to run. But in the blink of an eye, Silas was in front of them. Faced with such a terrifying giant, the snakes trembled with fear. Silas opened his mouth wide and in a flash of lightning and fire, the snakes were all consumed by the powerful force and killed. The birds in the forest scattered in fear. Kaiser sensed something was wrong. Shane wanted to go investigate but was stopped by Kaiser. The demonic energy in there is too strong. Be careful if you go in. At the same time, Lena felt a sharp pain in her heart, and the ring on her hand began to heat up. She had a bad feeling and quickly opened the cellar door, threw on a cloak, and ran out. The scene before her was shocking. Birds were flying everywhere, and the ground was littered with bodies. Just then, Zhuling appeared behind her. "Why did you come down the mountain?" "Something happened to Kaiser and the others. Please take me to them." Zhuling grinned mischievously, having some bad ideas. He swooped in front of her. "Kiss me and I'll take you." Lena was speechless and pouted. "This bird is so annoying." Zhuling added fuel to the fire. "If you wait any longer, there might not be anything left of them." Lena gritted her teeth and went for it. She gave him a quick peck on the cheek and then quickly backed away. "Is that good enough?" Zhuling was still savoring the moment. "A little too fast." Lena was at a loss for words. "Are you ever going to be serious?" Zhuling grinned slyly. "Fine, I guess that'll do." With that, he grabbed her and took to the air. Meanwhile, Kaiser and Shane entered the deep forest and saw the giant Silas in disbelief. How did Silas get like this? He's several times bigger, and his star level has increased by 5. It's unheard of. And he took out all the snakes by himself. Just then, Zhuling arrived with Lena. Kaiser and Shane looked up. "What are you doing here?" Lena quickly ran over to them. Zhuling grumbled, "She just uses me and then throws me away." Lena ignored him and asked where Silas was. Kaiser and Shane both glanced to the side, and Lena finally saw him lying there. Her jaw dropped. How did Silas become like this? He has the blood of the winged demons in him. Kaiser and Shane were both stunned. Lena was confused. What are winged demons? Winged demons are monsters that crawled out of the endless abyss. They feed on the flesh and blood of beastmen. Wherever they go, the land becomes a hellscape, with no life left. Lena retorted, "Silas is a good person, he can't be a winged demon." "That's because his winged demon bloodline has been dormant." Zhuling pointed to the dagger in Silas's head. "This dagger was forged from the bones of a winged demon. It awakened his bloodline." Lena's heart sank. Zhuling asked, "Are you still sure you want him?" "In my eyes, he's not a winged demon." "He's Silas, our family." Zhuling sneered, "Are you sure?" "Winged demons are very dangerous. Your kindness could get everyone killed." With that, his expression suddenly changed, and he was about to kill Silas. Lena quickly stood in front of him. "If you dare to touch him, I'll fight you to the death." Zhuling looked at Kaiser and Shane. "The little female doesn't understand the danger of the winged demons, but you two should." Kaiser and Shane hesitated. Lena spread her arms and shielded Silas, tears streaming down her face. "If you want to kill him, you'll have to go through me first." Zhuling gritted his teeth in anger. Lena was crying her eyes out. Shane quickly comforted her. All right, don't cry, we won't hurt him." Kaiser also wiped her tears away and promised not to hurt Silas. Zhuling's face was as dark as a thundercloud. "The price of letting a winged demon live is much greater than you think." Lena stuck her tongue out at him. "Our family's business is none of your business." Kaiser walked over to Silas. "Can we pull this dagger out?" Zhuling said they could try. So Kaiser jumped onto Silas's head and pulled out the dagger. Silas's body immediately convulsed, and he gradually returned to his original size, then back to his human form. Zhuling was amazed. Interesting. He actually changed back from a winged demon to a beastman. Lena was overjoyed. Zhuling shot her a disgruntled look and left. Lena looked at Silas lying on the ground, fiddled with her ring, and conjured a piece of animal hide, gently covering him. Shane was stunned. Kaiser quickly shushed him. "This is Lena's ability. Don't tell anyone." Shane clamped his mouth shut and nodded vigorously. Then Kaiser carried Silas on his back, and they all started their journey back to the wolf tribe. Fortunately, when he woke up, he had forgotten all about it. Lena was relieved to see him awake. If you can't remember, don't force it. The most important thing now is to rest and recover. Silas looked at the exhausted Lena, who had been taking care of him, and his heart ached. He gently pulled her into his arms. Just then, Kaiser and Shane walked in. Shane was about to mention the winged demon, but was silenced by Kaiser, who signaled him to keep quiet. "It's good that you're okay. Those snake beastmen are all gone, so don't worry." Silas nodded and didn't think any more about it. Lena took out all her dried fish, planning to make a soup for him. Kaiser, seeing this, felt a pang of jealousy. He picked her up and gently lifted her chin. "Seeing you take such good care of Silas makes me a little sad." Lena's heart skipped a beat, and before she could react, Kaiser had kissed her deeply. Filled with guilt, she hugged him tightly. "I'm sorry, I neglected your feelings." Kaiser knew she was trying to comfort him, and they kissed again. But in the middle of their passion, he suddenly stopped. He looked at the exhausted Lena and said with concern, "I'll take you to the bedroom to rest." With that, he picked her up. Lena quickly said she didn't need to, she still had to cook. Kaiser flatly refused. "I want you to be well rested so you'll be more delicious." Lena grumbled that she didn't need to rest, but as soon as she lay down, she fell fast asleep. Kaiser gently stroked her cheek, trying to suppress his urges, and just gave her a light kiss on the forehead. Just then, Shane walked in, looking unhappy. "I thought you were going to get frisky with him." With that, he puckered his lips and showered her face with kisses. Kaiser was speechless. "You really do copy everything I do." That night, Lena slept soundly. When she woke up the next day, she was yawning. Just then, there was a commotion outside. She went out to see the handsome but annoying bird, Shilling. He was quite excited to see her. A beastman on the side was about to greet her but was slapped across the face by Shilling. "Lena, I heard you're a shaman. I've come to borrow some medicinal herbs." Just then, Silas walked out. As soon as he saw Zhuling, his face darkened, and Zhuling didn't look happy to see him either. Lena, sensing the tension, quickly took out some herbs to block their view. But the two beastmen were too tall. She had no choice but to hand the herbs to Zhuling to get rid of him. He pinched her cheek. "I'll come and play with you again some other day." With that, he flew off. Lena grumbled to herself, "Just get lost." Then she turned and warned Silas, "Stay away from that Zhuling. He's no good." The snake obediently nodded. "Yes, I'll listen to you." Lena was completely charmed by his obedience and silently vowed to protect him. The next morning, Zhuling came to find her again. She was speechless. "As an elder, are you always this free?" He was unconcerned. "You know I'm an elder and you still talk to me like that? Aren't you afraid I'll cause trouble for the wolf tribe?" Lena laughed. "You cheapskate!" He shrugged. "I heard your stir-fried sunflower seeds are delicious. Give me some." Lena quickly hugged the seeds. "If you want some, go pick them yourself." Hearing this, he spread his wings and sparks flew. Lena's heart skipped a beat and she rushed to stop him. "Stop! You'll ruin my sunflowers." He grinned mischievously. "Didn't you tell me to pick them myself?" Lena was at a loss for words and angrily threw a bag of sunflower seeds at him. But he wasn't satisfied and wanted the roasted ones. She gritted her teeth. "You have so many demands. Why don't you just fly away?" With that, he shot into the air. "I can fly!" Lena was speechless. "You stinking bird, just get lost!" Back home, she was furious, and asked her three mates which of them could beat Zhuling. Kaiser said he had only won by a fluke last time. Shane said the whole tribe together might have a chance. And Silas also said Zhuling's strength was unfathomable, and no one there was his match. Hearing this, Lena was dejected. She grabbed a chicken leg and started eating, turning her anger into appetite. But a few days later, Zhuling came to find her again. Previously, as a thank you for the sunflower seeds, Zhuling had given her a lotus seed. Lena looked at the seed, confused. He explained, "This is a half-branch lotus seed. Just a drop of blood and a toss into the pond, and it will grow on its own." Lena decided to try it. She made a small cut on her hand and let a drop of blood fall onto the seed. Miraculously, the seed instantly turned pink. Intrigued, she hurried to the pond and threw it in. The seed began to grow rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, it had become a budding flower. Lena marveled. "It looks so much like a lotus. I wonder if it has..." Before she could finish, lotus roots shot out of the water. She was stunned as the flower bud swam toward her and nuzzled her hand. She was amazed. Even lotuses can become spirits these days. She curiously asked the little lotus, "Did you give me all these lotus roots?" The little lotus swayed. "If mother likes them, they're all for mother." Lena never thought a lotus could talk. And just like that, she had a lotus for a child. Just then, Zhuling appeared in the sky. "You two seem to be getting along well." The little lotus, seeing him, excitedly shook its head and kept calling out, "Father!" Lena was stunned. "It's one thing to call me mother, but why is it calling Zhuling father? What's going on?" Zhuling's lips curved into a smug smile. "The half-branch lotus is a rare species. It evolves from a plant into a human form. Whoever feeds it blood before it's born becomes its parent. I gave it a drop of my blood before I gave it to you." Lena stomped her feet in anger. "You did that on purpose!" He grinned slyly. "Yes, I did." She clenched her fists. "You're so shameless." The little lotus, seeing its cheap parents arguing, quickly tried to mediate. Lena quickly calmed it down. "We're not fighting. You can go back now." The little lotus obediently swayed and swam back to the center of the pond. Zhuling flew over her head. "Hey, wifey, roast some sunflower seeds for me." Lena pouted and threw a bag of sunflower seeds at him. "Get lost, and don't come back." He caught it smoothly. So you're disowning me after having our child? So heartless. With that, he flew off. Lena was speechless and couldn't help but complain. He's so handsome, but why is he so shameless? She waved goodbye to her lotus baby, saying she would be back tomorrow. It was market day again. At the stall, beastmen were scrambling to buy her lotus roots and roasted sunflower seeds, and everything sold out in a flash. Just then, Zhuiling walked over. Any sunflower seeds left? Lena rolled her eyes. Aren't you afraid of getting a sore throat from eating so many? He held out a finger and a small flame appeared. Do you think I'm afraid of fire? Lena was at a loss for words. It felt like they were talking on completely different wavelengths. The sunflower seeds are all sold out. Come back in a few days. He pouted. I'm the child's father, after all. Didn't you save any for me? Shane happened to overhear this. Lena's heart skipped a beat, worried he would misunderstand. Zhuiling added fuel to the fire. Lena and I already have a grown-up child. Shane, hearing this, flew into a rage. What? When did Lena have a child with you? Zhuiling then summoned the little lotus, claiming it was their child. The little lotus even kept calling out to Lena, Mother! Shane's mind went completely blank. Lena, seeing his expression, didn't know how to explain how she had suddenly acquired a child. After she explained everything, Shane's ears drooped and he asked cautiously, Then Lena, if you have a child in your belly, it will be mine, right? She nodded eagerly. Yes, of course, it will be yours. The little wolf immediately perked up and grinned foolishly. Lena loves me the most. Zhuiling, not wanting to see him so smug, decided to tease him. Lena, I'll take our son home first. You should come back soon, too. Jane roared at him. That's our home. It has nothing to do with you. Zhuiling chuckled. You never know. Zhuiling, having failed to win Lena's affection, resorted to being a freeloader, shamelessly moving into her home. You're all back? Come in and rest. Lena and Shane were speechless. What are you doing here? He grinned slyly. Didn't I tell you I was coming back first? You guys are so slow. Kaiser asked him what he wanted. He smirked. I brought my son to see his mother. Kaiser was completely lost. And his mother is? He replied as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Lena, of course. Lena was so angry she could have wet herself. She pointed at him and roared, Can you stop talking nonsense? There's nothing between us. He wasn't bothered and summoned the little lotus. Little one, your mother is disowning us. What should we do? The little lotus swayed and wrapped its vines around Lena, pulling her over to Zhuiling, all the while chanting, Mother and father, together, together. He praised the little lotus. So smart, father didn't dote on you for nothing. Lena was speechless and could only remain silent, thinking that if Kaiser heard this, all hell would break loose. And sure enough, his face was already dangerously dark. She quickly explained, Kaiser, you're wearing the ring, so you should be able to sense that it's not like he says. He just nodded silently. He actually believed her. But she thought he didn't, and quickly tried to kick Zhuiling out. Kaiser knew that Zhuiling was serious about her, but in the end, the decision was hers. Zhuiling put on a pitiful expression. Lena's lips twitched. Just keep acting! Just then, the system notification sounded. Congratulations, host, for receiving a special quest. Lena was instantly excited. The rewards for a special quest must be amazing. The system listed the quests related to plants, minerals, and hunting. The system suggested she choose the mineral quest. She curiously asked why. The system informed her, completing this quest will reward you with crystals. Lena's eyes lit up. I'm going to be rich. I'll take the mining quest. The system reminded her. Don't get too excited. There will be a penalty for failure. Her smile vanished. What kind of penalty? Failing a beginner's quest will result in a 7-day coma. Failing an advanced quest will result in death. Lena's heart skipped a beat, and she was glad she hadn't chosen an advanced quest. Then she took out a compass and turned it as the system instructed. The next moment, the compass spun out of control. She quickly asked the system, What's going on? The system explained, if the compass needle keeps spinning, it means there's a mineral vein at your current location. Lena was both surprised and delighted. There's a mineral vein right under my feet. She told her 3 mates and asked for their opinion on whether to dig. Kaiser said that if they dug recklessly, it could cause the mountain to collapse and destroy the tribe. Lena was so scared she nearly wet her pants and decided to look elsewhere. With only 3 months left until the quest deadline, she was in a panic, afraid of being struck by lightning and falling into a 7-day coma if she failed. She quickly set out with Kaiser to find a mineral vein. On their way through the vegetable garden, they ran into Silas. She waved to him, and he insisted on coming along. The other beastmen told her to take him. They would handle the watering. She thanked them, gently stroked the snake's head, and they all set out to find the mineral vein. But along the way, the compass was completely still. However, they did make an unexpected discovery. Silas found a nest of bird eggs. He took the whole nest and gave it to Lena. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed he was a habitual egg thief. But Kaiser didn't like to eat eggs. Lena had an idea to make him love them. Under the strong sun, she decided to make a sun-fried egg. Soon the egg was sizzling and fragrant. Looking at the delicious egg in her hand, Kaiser couldn't help but swallow, and he ate it with gusto. She also fed some to Silas. Tasting the egg, Lena couldn't help but feel emotional. She had actually eaten a fried egg in a strange beast world. Mom and Dad all live well in this world. Just then, Kaiser handed her a canteen of water, and she took it and chugged it down. So, was my fried egg delicious? He smiled slyly. Compared to the egg, I'd rather eat you. Lena spit a mouthful of water in his face. Silas, hanging upside down from a tree, poked his head down. What's wrong? Lena awkwardly wiped her mouth. Nothing. She looked at the still compass needle, feeling a little dejected. Silas, not wanting to see her sad, suddenly spit out a pile of crystals from his mouth. Lena was stunned. Did he have a storage space in his mouth? Ever since Lena became the little Lotus's mother, the bird, Zhuiling, had been pestering her as the father, showing up at her door time and time again. The child misses its mother, so I, as the father, brought her to you. Lena was speechless. She thought she couldn't let him continue with this ambiguous behavior. She pointed at the narcissistic bird and roared, "If you want a child, go find another female. I have a family. Please stop talking like this in the future." Hearing this, his face immediately darkened. The little Lotus swayed and kept calling out to her, "Mother!" Lena steeled herself, thinking it was better to be direct. "I'm sorry, I'm not your mother." Zhuiling's eyes narrowed and a strange smile appeared on his face. He held up the little Lotus, which trembled with fear. Lena's heart skipped a beat. That smile, he looks dangerous. Kaiser, seeing this, immediately stood in front of her, and Shane and Silas also quickly surrounded them. He pinched the little Lotus's bud and said menacingly, "Your mother doesn't want you, so I have no use for you either." With that, the little Lotus was engulfed in flames. Lena rushed forward and rescued it from the fire. The little Lotus sobbed, "Mother, it hurts." Lena held it protectively and roared at him, "It at least calls you father. How could you be so cruel?" He flapped his wings unconcerned. "Didn't you want to draw a clear line between us? It has both our blood. If I burn it, you'll be completely free." With that, he flew away. Lena gently placed the little Lotus in a basin, then bit her finger and let her blood drip onto it. The bud instantly unfurled. She gently stroked its little head. "From now on, you'll live with me. Don't mind that bastard Zhuiling." Shane, hiding behind her, saw this and blushed, grumbling to himself, "This little flower is blatantly in love with Lena. When will she ever have my child?" At that thought, he suddenly pounced on her. But at that critical moment, Kaiser pulled him away. "Come out, I need to talk to you." Shane pouted. "If you have something to say, say it. If you have to fart, fart." Lena went out today to find a mineral vein. Let's dig up the one on Skyrock Mountain. Silas and Shane were shocked. Digging up the mountain could be dangerous for the tribe. But Shane, for Lena's sake, decided to go for it. Just as he was about to gather his men, Silas pulled him back with his tail. "Hold on. If we dig up the mine, will it be dangerous for us to still live on the mountain?" Kaiser said, "A small vein should be fine. If it's a large one, we'll build new houses elsewhere." The next morning, Lena woke up to find her three mates gone. She heard a commotion at the foot of the mountain and saw Kaiser and Silas. She immediately ran over to them and jumped into Kaiser's arms. She asked what they were digging. He replied, "You said there was a mineral vein at the foot of Skyrock Mountain. It would be a waste not to dig it up." Lena was touched. "So you changed your minds and decided to dig up the mountain for me." Afterward, she went to the river. As soon as the little Lotus saw her, it shot out of the water and excitedly swayed its graceful body. It even plucked off one of its own leaves and gave it to her to shield her from the sun. She asked it for a few more leaves and then ran back to the mine, giving one to Kaiser and one to Silas. They both felt much cooler after putting them on. Just then, they heard hurried footsteps. "It's bad. The chief is fighting with the chief of the feathered tribe." Lena just got her period, but the bird, Zhuiling, thought she was injured and was desperate to check on her. Lena's heart skipped a beat. She said she was fine and urged him to leave, but he scooped her up. "Is something wrong with the baby in your belly?" Hearing this was like a bolt from the blue. She slapped him across the face. "Shut up! Do I look like I'm about to have a baby?" "Then what's wrong?" I got my period." He was completely baffled. "What's a period?" She was at her wit's end and gave up explaining. "Anyway, it's a normal thing. I just want to rest." He nodded and finally left her cave. At that moment, she was feeling awful. After changing, she lay down on the bed and discovered feathers under the mattress. Just then, His voice came from outside. This will be warmer and more comfortable. It dawned on her. So you put these feathers here, thank you. He didn't care about a few feathers, and vanished in a flash. She never thought the usually cold Juling could have such a warm side. However, he hadn't actually gone far. He was too worried to leave her alone. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound behind him, and turned to see Silas. Silas, seeing him, looked displeased. This is our home, what are you doing here? Lena is bleeding, I wanted her to lie down. Before he could finish, Silas had slithered into the cave and rushed to her side. Juling outside grinned slyly. That snake isn't even her mate. What right does he have to be so close to her? He's such an eyesore. This intense killing intent made the little lotus tremble. Mother and father, please don't fight. Silas also felt the strong killing intent from outside. Such powerful energy can even penetrate the cave. What is this Juling's origin? Meanwhile, Shane and the Feathered Tribe's chief were in the middle of a heated fight. When Lena heard the news, she rushed to the scene. She was about to intervene when Juling stopped her. No! No one can interfere in a duel between males. But she was determined to go, and he had to grab her and pull her back. Kaiser, seeing this, took her back from him. Let them fight. It's better to let them vent their frustrations than to keep them bottled up. It's good for both of them. She nodded, and could only silently cheer for Shane. Juling stared at her, and their eyes met. She huffed and looked away. He sneered, the more you're like this, the more I don't want to let go. At the same time, the two chiefs had stopped fighting. Although there was no clear winner, they had surprisingly become good friends. Just then, Lena ran over to them, her heart aching to see Shane injured. The little wolf, seeing his wife, wagged his tail like a drum. As long as you're by my side, I'm not afraid of anything. Seeing the couple's public display of affection, the bird on the side was getting a mouthful of dog food, and couldn't help but tease Juling. You actually like such a small female. Your taste is quite unique. He just chuckled. She's small and cute. I can hold her in the palm of my hand and dote on her. The Feathered Tribe's chief was speechless and couldn't help but mock him for being delusional. Juling's face immediately darkened. What did you say? This scared the chief so much he fell on his butt. Shane wanted to partner with the Feathered Tribe to dig the mine, and the chief readily agreed. But Juling objected. His mischievous eyes were fixed on Lena, and she felt a shiver run down her spine, as if she were being stared at by a wild beast. Shane was not happy and asked him what his conditions were. Juling grinned slyly. If you can solve the Feathered Tribe's fertility problems, we will not only move but also mine with you. Kaiser and Lena frowned, and Shane was so angry his fists were clenched. Lena quickly calmed him down. The complete guide to flora and fauna has some herbs for infertility. I accept your condition. The bird beastmen were in an uproar. Juling also never thought she would agree so readily. Then it's settled. We'll help you mine and you'll solve our fertility problems. With that, he flew in front of her. If you dare to lie to me, I will definitely not let you off the hook. Just a moment ago, Lena was playing with the little lotus when the thick-skinned bird, Juling, showed up. The little lotus was the first to spot its cheap old dad. Lena looked up and saw him staring at her, his gaze hot and hazy. She quickly covered her chest. What are you looking at? He grinned mischievously. How's it going with solving the Feathered Tribe's fertility problems? It takes time, I need to find more herbs. His eyes glinted as he looked her up and down, and she felt a little strange. But before she could react, he suddenly moved closer and stole her first kiss of the day. The little lotus quickly covered its eyes. Daddy is so shameless! At that moment, Juling only had eyes for Lena, and even wanted to force himself on her. She struggled desperately, but couldn't break free. The little lotus shouted at him, Daddy, don't bully Mother. In a critical moment, Lena took out her dagger and slashed at him. A cut appeared on his chest, and he looked innocent. I just wanted to kiss you. But she wasn't buying it, and warned him not to mess around, or she would make sure the Feathered Tribe had no heirs. Afraid that she would really hate him, he quickly apologized. I was wrong. I really didn't mean to hurt you. With that, he tried to get closer to her. She immediately raised her dagger. Go! And don't come near me again! But he moved closer step by step. Lena, I really like you. She was stunned. Are you serious? She remembered how terrifying he could be, how he had even wanted to kill Silas. And she felt a shiver run down her spine. If he's serious, I have to reject him immediately and completely. Juling, seeing the determination in her eyes, could only smile wryly and say he was just kidding. She finally breathed a sigh of relief. He raised an eyebrow and gently lifted a strand of her hair. I already have someone I like. I won't really do anything to you. She disgustedly pushed his hand away. Can I know who that person is? If you're willing to have my cubs, I'll consider telling you. She was speechless. Please keep your secret, don't tell me. He clicked his tongue and pouted. You're no fun at all. She laughed awkwardly, unaware that the person he was talking about was her. 3 months passed in a flash, and the Beastman had built a magnificent fortress on Skyrock Mountain. Lena was making mashed potatoes. When the system notification sounded, congratulations, host, for triggering a growth quest. Please increase the tribe's population and expand its territory. Hearing this, she thought she had to get the feathered tribe's females pregnant as soon as possible. Back home, she was distracted, wondering if she should also consider having a baby. Just then, Shane walked in, dripping wet, water sliding down his muscular abs. Lena was instantly smitten, her eyes sparkling. Kaiser and Shane looked at her, confused, and she quickly lowered her head in embarrassment. As summer turned to autumn, Lena led the Beastmen to trade their fruits and vegetables, and business was booming. She also built a bathroom in the cave, and added tables, chairs, and beds. The females were overjoyed and thanked her, saying she was like a divine shaman sent from heaven. Just as the wolf tribe was thriving, a group of vixen spirits suddenly arrived. A vixen openly tried to steal Lena's mate. She swayed her hips and walked over to Kaiser, taking his hand and trying to seduce him. But he wasn't having it and mercilessly threw her off. But the vixen was persistent. When being nice didn't work, she publicly declared that she was willing to offer her body. This bold statement stunned Lena and the entire crowd. The surrounding male's eyes lit up with envy. Hazel on the side nudged her. Are you just going to sit there? But Lena was calm. I trust Kaiser. And sure enough, his brow furrowed and a cold glint appeared in his eyes. His murderous gaze was like a sharp blade, and the vixen instinctively let go of his hand. He then pushed her away without a second thought. Sorry, I already have a mate. With that, he turned and left. Hazel cheered, well done, and praised her for finding such a good mate. He sat down next to her, and she leaned in and whispered, half-jokingly, Are you happy that such a beautiful vixen confessed her love to you? He replied firmly, I don't like her. She pretended not to believe him. He immediately took her hand and kissed it several times, saying softly, I think you're the most beautiful. She was overjoyed but still said, Sweet talk, I'm not falling for it. The rejected green-haired vixen was sighing in a corner, when a group of hungry wolves suddenly appeared and surrounded her, all confessing their love. But she only had eyes for Kaiser, and was completely uninterested. That night, the wolf beastmen lit a large bonfire, and skillfully roasted meat. The vixen spirits were surprised that the wolf tribe was not afraid of fire, and even used it to cook. She looked at the handsome Kaiser, and thought to herself, with such a powerful soul beast here, they will definitely become a powerful tribe. Just then, someone called for Lena. It was the little wolf, Shane. The vixen's eyes were glued to the muscular Shane, especially when they saw the faint star crest on his upper body. They were practically drooling. The vixen tribe's chief also couldn't help but make eyes at him. The green-haired vixen was shocked. This chief Shane is also a soul beast. What made the vixens even more furious was that everyone was fawning over Lena. The green-haired vixen gritted her teeth. Damn it! That skinny little female, what does she have that I don't? And to top it off, Shane even pulled Lena out to show her off. Isn't my mate beautiful? Lena didn't know whether to laugh or cry and slapped him across the face. Let me go, you pervert! Kaiser smiled and handed her a skewer of meat. Shane pouted, lifted his wife's chin, and kissed her. Kaiser's eyes narrowed. Instantly shot a bolt of electricity from his eyes, shocking Shane so much he collapsed. Kaiser pulled Lena into his arms and smirked. You want to compete with me? You're still too young. Shane roared in anger. Just because you can use electricity? The vixen spirits on the side were stunned. They're completely ignoring us? Just then, they heard a commotion in the sky. The bird beastmen of the feathered tribe had also come to join the fun, and they all swooped down. The cold and handsome Juling was among them. The vixen females all swooned at the sight of him. The green-haired vixen was shocked. It's Juling, the strongest male of the feathered tribe. She grinned slyly, having some ideas about him, but the vixen tribe's chief had already beaten her to it, and ran over to him. You're such a charming beast, man. What's your name? He lifted her chin and smiled slyly. My name? You're not worthy of knowing it, you foolish female. The pink-haired vixen trembled and flew into a rage. No male has ever dared to talk to me like that. He clapped his hands, disgusted. So dirty. I wonder how many males have touched you. The vixen couldn't take it anymore and lunged at him. A glint appeared in his eyes, and her hand was instantly set on fire. The other vixens, seeing this, were in an uproar, and quickly doused her with water to put out the flames. She gritted her teeth. I'm going to kill you! With that, he appeared in front of her in a flash, and she immediately backed down, and ran away. But the green-haired vixen still had hopes of conquering the cold and aloof bird Juling. He plopped down next to Lena and her group. "Give me some sunflower seeds." Lena rolled her eyes and reluctantly handed him a bag. Just then, the little Lotus shot out, calling out to him, "Daddy!" Lena broke into a cold sweat. "Lotus, he almost burned you. Why are you still calling him Daddy?" He grinned foolishly. "It's because of our blood bond. He can't bear to be away from me." Lena told the little Lotus to stay away from him, but it just acted cute. Suddenly, they heard the sound of bells, and the green-haired vixen danced toward them. She swayed her alluring body, and the males drooled. Lena was surprised. There were people in this world who knew how to dance. The vixen flirted with Juling step by step, and after a spin, she placed her hand on his shoulder and gently stroked his cold face. She exuded a unique fragrance, and even Kaiser and Shane were drawn to it. Lena knew something was wrong. At first, she thought they were interested in the vixen, but then she realized they weren't like that. The vixen must be up to something. She used all her charms to seduce him, thinking she was about to succeed, but he wasn't having it. "You stink! Get away!" He pushed her away. The little Lotus, overcome by the vixen's scent, swayed violently and then suddenly transformed, biting her arm. The vixen screamed in pain and was about to scratch the little Lotus when Lena shouted, "Stop!" Kaiser and Shane also snapped out of it, confused about what had just happened. Schilling immediately reacted, slamming the vixen to the ground and roaring, "You bitch! You dare to use your vixen's scent on me!" The little Lotus, overcome by the vixen's scent, transformed and wrapped itself around Lena. "Little Lotus is scared," sob sob. Lena was speechless. After being so fierce just a moment ago, it now had the nerve to act scared. Kaiser sensed something was wrong with the vixen, and immediately stood in front of Lena. "Be careful of that vixen female. She's using her vixen scent." Shane was furious. Once controlled by the vixen scent, one would lose their mind and become a puppet. And at that moment, the vixen was still trying to use her charms. Schilling took to the air, and with a wave of his hand, a ball of fire shot toward her, making her cry and beg for him to spare her. He retracted the flames, his face cold. "If there's a next time, I'll let you taste what it's like to be burned to ashes." Just then, a beastman walked over to her. Hazel's heart skipped a beat. It was her brother. She was furious. "Bro, get back here!" But the little wolf was already smitten and helped the vixen back to her group. The vixen tribe's chief was enraged. "The vixen scent is a forbidden art. Where did you get the female corpses to make it?" The green-haired vixen tried to argue, but the evidence was irrefutable, and she was doomed. The chief left the wolf tribe, planning to deal with her later. The green-haired vixen collapsed to the ground. Lena breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, the little Lotus reacted quickly, or you guys might have become puppets. The little Lotus swayed shyly. "It was nothing, heh." Hazel, seeing her brother still with the vixen, gritted her teeth. "Muir, get back here!" The vixen looked pitiful. "I'm fine, you can go back." But the wolf was determined to escort her back to her tribe, and left with her. Kaiser and Shane, seeing this, decided to get rid of the green-haired vixen. Just then, Silas came over with some alcohol and asked what had happened. Shane said they had run into some trouble. Silas bared his fangs excitedly. "There's no trouble that can't be swallowed in one bite." He handed Lena a bamboo tube of alcohol, and she drank it down like a seasoned drinker. Shane drank until his face was red, but Kaiser didn't dare to drink, afraid of making the same mistake as last time. Just then, a little wolf cub trotted over to him and called him Daddy. It was Hazel's child. Lena, seeing how much Kaiser liked children, had the thought of having a little tiger cub with him. As she was lost in thought, Shane suddenly hugged her from behind, demanding to make cubs with her. She was speechless. He was drunk again. But when she thought about the quest to increase the tribe's population, she picked up the alcohol and started drinking. Her three mates were completely baffled. Shane was also drunk, and Silas dragged him back with his tail. Kaiser offered to take Lena back. After drinking, she felt hot and thought about the quest. She then hugged him and demanded to go to the river for a bath. They went to the river. She slowly walked into the water, her heart pounding, and then slowly took off her clothes, beckoning him to come in. He immediately transformed into his human form and slowly walked over to her. She was particularly charming in the moonlight. Their eyes met, and they couldn't help but kiss. 2.5 hours later, she wondered, "Will I have my own child soon?" When they returned to the village, they heard the whimpering of the wolf, Shane. Silas informed her, "He came back and was looking for you. When he couldn't find you, he just sat on the roof and cried." Lena looked up and shouted, "Shane, get down here! What will people think if they see you?" Hearing his wife's voice, the little wolf's dull eyes instantly lit up. He leaped down and hugged her tightly, showering her face with kisses. "Don't leave me!" Kaiser, seeing this, told her to stay with him for a while. So she took him back to his room. He looked pitiful. "I know you like Kaiser and you feel sorry for Silas, and you only became my mate because you had to." He held onto her clothes, begging for a little more affection. "Even just a little is fine." She was touched. "But I don't care about you." With that, she leaned in and kissed him hard. He was stunned that she had kissed him on her own. His eyes filled with disbelief and joy, and he flipped her over, pinning her to the bed and showering her face with kisses. The little wolf was blushing and panting. At that moment, only the two of them existed, their silent passion filling the air. Outside, Silas heard their soft whispers and felt a pang of sadness. Just then, Kaiser walked over and asked him if he wanted to be Lena's mate. He panicked for a moment, then a look of anticipation appeared in his eyes. "What do you mean?" The next day, Lena was too tired to move, until Kaiser came in with a delicious fruit juice. She shot up like a spring and took it, but she spit it out after one sip. She had heard the vixen's voice from next door. She quickly threw off the covers to get out of bed, but pulled a muscle in her back. Kaiser rushed over. "I'll carry you over to see." She quickly shook her head. "If everyone finds out I overdid it with Shane yesterday, it'll be too embarrassing." They went to Hazel's place and saw her scolding her brother for being with the vixen. But the wolf, Muir, was already smitten and was determined to be with her. Hazel was adamant. The vixen, seeing that the situation was not in her favor, pretended to be pitiful and said she was pregnant with Muir's child. And Muir confirmed it, even planning to leave the wolf tribe. Everyone was stunned. Just then, Chief Shane walked in, his eyes fixed on the vixen. He wanted to talk to Muir alone, and they both went outside. A moment later, Shane returned alone. Muir had chosen to follow the vixen. A few days later, Lena was playing with the little lotus when the bird Juling suddenly showed up, asking if she had made the medicine to solve the feathered tribe's fertility problems. Her heart skipped a beat. She had completely forgotten. She quickly changed the subject. "Just wait a little longer. I've made some progress." He lifted her chin. "You didn't forget, did you?" She shook her head vigorously. No, of course not." He pinned her against the wall and grinned mischievously. "You'd better not be lying to me." She was so scared she nearly wet her pants and insisted she never lied. Just then, Shane rushed over. "You dead bird, what are you doing?" He quickly dodged. Shane stood in front of her and roared, "Don't you dare lay a hand on Lena!" The proud bird sneered and licked his lips. "I did. What are you going to do about it?" Shane gritted his teeth. "Don't think I won't beat you up." Lena told the angry little wolf to calm down. "Juling doesn't like me. He likes someone else. There's nothing between us." His eyes twitched at her words. Shane was suspicious and pointed at him. "Then why was he touching you?" She laughed and explained, "He's just bored. He'd flirt with any female." His lips twitched. "What do you mean I'd flirt with any female? Do I look that desperate?" Lena took Shane's hand and told him to leave if he had no other business. She and Shane had family matters to discuss, and it was not convenient for an outsider to be there. He was inexplicably annoyed. "We even have a child together. How am I an outsider?" She retorted, "Why do you have to talk like that? I have no—" Before she could finish, he flapped his wings and his face darkened. "Don't say it."